Which have to capture the speaker? That one?
Because I wanted that the phone onto church there.
Yeah.
Then zoom in up on it.
And that one is the white?
That one is the white, the semi-white.
Almighty God, who, in thy infinite wisdom and providential goodness, has appointed the offices of rulers and councils for the welfare of society and the just government of man, we beseech thee to behold with thy abundant favor us, thou servants, who thou hast been pleased to call to the performance of such important trust in the Commonwealth of Dominica. Let thy blessing descend upon us here in this Parliament assembled, and grant that we may, as in thy presence, treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote thy honor and glory, and to advance the good of all those interests thou hast committed to our charge. All which we ask in the name and for the sake of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen. Good morning. We will continue with the order paper as before. But I have some announcements to make. Some time ago, a member who put in his questions late did not have it accepted by the clerk. The member was extremely verbally abusive towards the clerk. And I mentioned it in the House. And I asked that members cease and desist from abusing the clerk. Mr. James is a very mild-mannered person, a mild-mannered public servant to boot, who really shouldn't respond to the things that have been said to him lately. I also received a report that a member of the House was extremely verbally abusive against Mr. James on the radio station this morning. I then called Mr. James a liar, and that Mr. James is taking from me. Well, since the person perceives that Mr. James is taking from me, I will take the responsibility to respond and to let the member know that bullying will not work with this speaker. Okay? I am impervious, immune, in other words. I don't know how else to say it, but I'm sure everybody has a dictionary. They can see all the words that will tell them that bullying will not frighten me. And as Mr. James is the clerk of the House, I take the responsibility to respond on his behalf and to say to the member, soon from now, I will have to set rules and guidelines as to how the clerk can be approached. Because it seems, as the young people say, some members have no bricks. Having said that, it makes me feel obliged to repeat again the standing orders relevant to debates in the House. And I'm going to do so because it seems members forget quickly in here. I particularly want to clarify and emphasize and read the following standing orders. Standing Order 82, Standing Order 83, Standing Order 86, and Standing Order 50. I will start with 82. It appears that members don't have the standing orders, so I'm forced to read it to them to remind them. Starting with Standing Order 82. Strangers shall be admitted to debates in the House under such rules as the Speaker may make from time to time for that purpose. That's Standing Order 82.1. Standing Order 82.2, if at any sitting of the House, any member shall move that strangers withdraw, the Speaker shall forthwith put the question that strangers do withdraw without permitting any debate or amendment. Standing Order 82.3. The Speaker may, whenever he thinks fit, order the withdrawal of strangers from any part of the chamber and its precincts. I'll repeat that. The Speaker may, whenever he thinks fit, order the withdrawal of strangers from any part of the chamber and its precincts, and may order the doors of the chamber to be closed. And 4, Standing Order 82.4, strangers shall withdraw from the chamber and its precincts when called upon to do so by the Speaker. So persons who come to the House other than the members and the staff are known as strangers according to these rules. And then there's the press. Standing Order 83. The Speaker may grant a general permission to the representative of any journal to attend the sittings of the House under such rules as he may make from time to time for that purpose. If such rules are contravened, such permission may be revoked. And then, of course, I want to read Standing Order 86. Standing Order 86.1. Subject to the provisions of paragraph 1 of Standing Order 87, rules in case of not provided for by standing orders, the Speaker shall have the power to regulate the conduct of business in all matters not provided for in these rules. I'm reading, it's not a figment of my imagination, I am reading Standing Order 86, because people go on the radio and say pretty much what they want, which they can do, but please, to sound sensible, to sound as if you understand what you're saying, have regard to the rules so that you can be making accurate statements. Subject to the provisions of paragraph 1 of Standing Order 87, the Speaker shall have power to regulate the conduct of business in all matters not provided for in these rules. Standing Order 86.2. The Speaker shall be responsible for the management and general administration of the House. Standing Order 86.3. A decision by the Speaker, whether relating to these standing orders or to a matter for which these standing orders do not provide, shall not be challenged save upon a substantive motion for that exclusive purpose. And it simply means that the member has to bear patience and wait until the next meeting and make their motion. Not right away, not the same day, not the same sitting unless it's more than 14 days long. Okay? And this is the thing I need to explain to members as well. During a session, the session is from the opening of Parliament to prorogation. All things that have no time to be discussed or we don't get through, like bills that were on the order paper, and including the fact that the time of 3 missing of Parliament would be applicable if the person missed 3, ends at the end when Parliament is prorogued. Everything ends. It begins de novo. So, for example, if a member missed 2 sittings in the previous session and a new Parliament begins, you have to start counting from 1. Okay? And everything else dies a natural death. So anybody who wants, let's say something happened in the last Parliament, I'm not even talking about a last meeting, I'm talking about a last Parliament, they would have to bring whatever motion they wish to bring with the 14 days and bring their motion. It will have to be sanctioned by the clerk and the Speaker, and then the motion will come up on the order paper and can be. Nothing can take place in the next session as a continuation of what happened in a last session. Okay? So I'm hoping that we can have a beautiful day today like we had on Friday. I myself, I thought I was in a dream. I kept pinching myself. That said, House resumes and debate continues.
Special good morning to you, Madam Speaker, and we will do our best to ensure that we have a beautiful day today. And let me say a special good morning to the listening public as we commence this Monday in this Honourable House. Madam Speaker, you know, there is this old saying, when, and I want to say it in Creole first, là yon macaque passe à rive Wézéen, il can't Wézéen see. It means that when a monkey cannot reach the grapes, it is saying that the grapes is sour. And I suspect that is what is happening with the CBI. But, Madam Speaker, for those who have ears to hear shall hear, those who have eyes to see shall see, and those who have mouth to speak will speak. And, Madam Speaker, this budget is a people's budget. It is people-oriented, and it is catering for every aspect of our society and the development of our beautiful country in terms of economic and social well-being. It further emits the energies and further cements the Dominican Labour Party commitment to ensuring that every Dominican enjoys a quality of life. It caters, Madam Speaker, for the sanitation engineer, the physically challenged, the businessman, the farmer, the hotelier, and the middle class, etc. But, Madam Speaker, we stayed here for almost 2 hours last week, listening really to something that could have been shortened. And the opening remarks of the leader of the opposition is querying about time and saying, I will abandon this and I will abandon that, I will abandon geothermal. Let me just start on geothermal. And I'm quoting from the remarks of the Honourable Prime Minister. And he said, I quote, "Today I'm pleased to provide an update on the significant progress that we have made over the last 12 months. We have established the Dominica Geothermal Development Company with the full complement of staff to move ahead with the construction." And further down, Madam Speaker, he said the funding for this project will come from various sources. Government will contribute $40.5 million. In addition to government's contribution, we have secured all the funds required to construct the plant from our development partners. Grant funding in the amount of $30 million. And, Madam Speaker, he went on to indicate where the funds are coming from. And later down, he said funding will also be obtained from the World Bank in the form of a loan of $16.2 million at highly concessionary rate of 0.75% with a 10 years grace period to be repaid over 40 years. What is it, Madam Speaker, for you to abandon geothermal when we are having all this coming to our beautiful, beautiful country where we can reduce on the cost of electricity? And his fellow members stayed there and really said, no. It's appalling, Madam Speaker. But, Madam Speaker, this is typical of members of the opposition. And, Madam Speaker, really, it was a 2 hours punishment to me to sit here and listen with no alternatives from the members of the opposition. And then you end with the national anthem as usual. And beating your chest, I'm a major, I did something good. What have you presented to the Dominican public to increase their livelihood? Well, Madam Speaker, let me just inform you, and I want you to listen carefully, the members of the opposition, that with all the eloquence, I must let you know, with all the eloquence, it becomes a liability to you when you don't pay attention to what you are saying. And, Madam Speaker, their laziness to research or search or find for factual information is a clear indication that they are educating themselves into imbecility. Madam Speaker, let me also let you know that the lack of patriotism in this country by some among us, they are going to suffocate. Because they don't speak good of this country, the beautiful country that all of us should be cherishing. And according, Madam Speaker, to Wikipedia, patriotism is an attachment to country. It can be viewed in terms of different features relating to one's homeland, including culture, ethics, political or historical aspect. It's more than color. It's all about serving your homeland with pride in spite of all the challenges that we are facing in this global landscape. And Madam Speaker, what is amazing to me is to witness how the minority few among us try to betray, they tarnish, and at all costs, at all means possible, Madam Speaker, they want to black eye our beloved country, Dominica. And every genuine leader in the Caribbean and in the world are singing from the same tune that being a leader at this moment in our era is a challenging time, Madam Speaker. We have faced, or we are confronted with many challenges. And all of us here, we are aware of some of those challenges, such as climate change, global terrorism, domestic crime, drugs, even digitalization that we fully embrace, political transformation and changing ideologies. Still yet, some wholeheartedly collude, Madam Speaker, with some foreigner, or if they form partnership, Madam Speaker, with individuals who knows very little about our beautiful country. And they try to destabilize. They're trying to create disunity. They propagate hate and spreading fake news. I firmly believe, Madam Speaker, that all the members of the opposition, all, they have intoxicated themselves in believing lies. And they need to come to the reality, Madam Speaker, that it is taking them nowhere. And thus, Madam Speaker, when at home, we all can display our in-house differences. But, Madam Speaker, when we enter into international forums and over the net, we must be careful with what we say about our country. And I would like to join, Madam Speaker, the majority of Dominicans at home and abroad to condemn the actions of those who are trying to black eye our country and inflicting irreversible pains on this beautiful country of ours. Madam Speaker, I've listened to several speakers from various forums speaking of if Columbus were to return, and the word Kalinago, and how we have developed over the past years, Madam Speaker. Reflecting on the word Kalinago, Madam Speaker, we have gone a long way, and we have really gone a long distance in our development, Madam Speaker. The Kalinago people who endured the agonizing stings of colonization, a people who endured the wrath of diseases brought among by settlers, by foreign settlers, Madam Speaker, and a people who bravely navigated the rugged terrain of Waitikubuli, Dominica, and put fierce resistance to protect this country that we have today, Madam Speaker. And we have pursued in our dreams to make our communities better. But, Madam Speaker, while the Kalinago people put all the resistance to ensure that we have Dominica today, we have some people traveling to distant places to destroy this country. Now, Madam Speaker, I'm hoping that history is paying attention, because when the Kalinago people put up their resistance to protect Dominica, they were called savages, and they were called warlocks. Now, we have people who are traveling around the country around the Caribbean and on the international forums trying to destroy this country, I wonder what history will record them as. And I hope that history is keeping an eye on them. And we need to know who are the real savages. Madam Speaker, we have really gone a long way, Madam Speaker. But most importantly, it was during the last 17 years under this Dominica Labour Party, Madam Speaker. And if Columbus were to return today, the aircraft would be controlled by a Kalinago pilot in the name of Rinster Luke, Madam Speaker. And I want to say thank you to the Dominica Labour Party for helping this young man to attain his dreams. If Columbus were to return, he would have no language barrier today, Madam Speaker, because it was the first time in our history, during the first term of the Dominica Labour Party, that we had 35 Kalinago students setting out to the shores of Venezuela to pursue studies in various disciplines. And several went to Cuba and to various countries around the globe, Madam Speaker. And even if the late president of China, Mao Zedong, were to come to Dominica now, without the Chinese community, we will be able to welcome him in Chinese, Madam Speaker. All because the Dominica Labour Party, this administration, has been creating the avenues so that many Dominicans can leave the shores of Dominica to go abroad to have a higher education. And if anyone across this country, Madam Speaker, doesn't want to have an education, they cannot blame the Dominica Labour Party for that. They must blame themselves, because there are a lot of opportunities being created by the Dominica Labour Party to ensure that every Dominican has a sound education. Madam Speaker, in the Salibia community, a young guy walked up to me and he said, well, they call me Clay, because my name is Casius and Clay, so they call me Clay. He said, Clay, I'm telling you just how he said it. I heard the leader of the opposition is going to CBS. What does that mean? Then, then he said, I told him, I really don't know what you mean, because I pay very little attention to the opposition. But he said to me, the only place I know that is called CBS is Castlebridge Secondary. Then I said, what is he going to do there? Then he said to me, he's going to talk about CBI. I said, CBI? He said, yes. He's coming to talk to us about childhood basic intelligence. I said, what is that? But Madam Speaker, that's in his own childhood state. That's what he said to me, and I'm not saying it. That's what he said. He's going to CBS, Castlebridge Secondary. I would congratulate him, Madam Speaker. But yes, reported speech, I cannot change it, Madam Speaker. But Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, this administration, the Dominica Labour Party, is the first and only administration that has demonstrated its true interest in the well-being of the people of the Salibia constituency, and I hold no reservation in saying this, Madam Speaker. And I believe, Madam Speaker, it would only take the Dominica Labour Party to realize the level of development that is now going in the Salibia constituency, whether it is in education, housing, health, sanitation, social support, community development, Madam Speaker, you name it, it is happening in the Salibia constituency. And Madam Speaker, majority of the residents in the Salibia constituency, comprising of the Kalinago territory, Atkinson and Antrizal, they are saying that if, especially the elderly people, they are saying, si gouvernement sala ale, no fini bat aba se tiboy sala. It means that if the Dominica Labour Party has to leave office, we are going to suffer under the United Workers' Party, Madam Speaker. And this is true, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, as I said before, this is a people's budget. And there is something for everyone. while the opposition in the usual uninformed manner saying the same old, and we have heard that several times, they have not presented any alternative. Not for health, not for agriculture, not for sanitation. As a matter of fact, they said they will abandon renewable energy, geothermal. But, Madam Speaker, I wish the member of the opposition was sitting here to listen. I would want to find out when last he drove past from Pokase to the airport and what is happening on the Liverpool Highway, Madam Speaker. We have started the solar lighting of this entire section of road, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, if you drive from the airport to Pokase, Madam Speaker, you will see men at work. And I'm very happy, and I must say thanks to the Ministry of Public Works for allowing 2 of my local contractors to be contracted to put solar light on this piece of infrastructure, Madam Speaker. And, Madam Speaker, this is giving the local contractors the opportunity, Madam Speaker, to prove themselves. And this is what we are doing. As a matter of fact, I have 2 contractors on this road putting solar light on the Liverpool Highway, Madam Speaker. They haven't given anything, Madam Speaker, for small business development. Instead, they complain. In terms of small business development, Madam Speaker, I'll give you a case, Madam Speaker. I have an individual who is interested in sewing, but she took a little loan, and she can't repay that loan. But under our small business development in the Ministry of Collin Affairs, we gave her some assistance. And she came back crying because she was so happy. Most importantly, though, she's not a supporter of the Dominican Labour Party. You see, we spread the love around, Madam Speaker. She came and she said, Madam Speaker, no, I can produce enough. And I cannot go to the bank and tell them I will give you $200 every month. That's something I heard in the news also recently. But, Madam Speaker, she can meet her commitment. I brought some assistance to help her in getting her uniforms, Madam Speaker. And she said, I'll give it to somebody else who is more in need than me, because now I can help myself, Madam Speaker. And this is what small business is doing for us in the community. Madam Speaker, while small business or cottage industries does not have the capability to generate high financial returns, but there remains a critical part and a great contributor to national development and of the local economy, Madam Speaker. And this small business creates employment, and we've heard of the PM indicating of things that will be put in place to ensure that people benefit under the small business unit that we have in the ministry, Madam Speaker. Now, Madam Speaker, small business on its own, Madam Speaker, has a great part to play. It brings in creativity, innovation, and growth in the local community. And the people benefit because it is they are more inclined to develop new products, attract nouveau talents, and explore or augment on existing products that they may have. And small business, Madam Speaker, or small businesses, Madam Speaker, they are more responsive and has the capability to adapt to the ever-changing business landscape, Madam Speaker. They are more flexible. They are able to deal with economic shocks because customers remain loyal to the small businesses. They are part of the community. And so, Madam Speaker, although monies were allocated to the Ministry of Commerce, in the Ministry of Collin Affairs, we have $600,000 allocated to us directly, Madam Speaker, for us to deal with small businesses issues in the Salibia constituency. And we will continue to help our people within the Salibia constituency. Last financial year, Madam Speaker, we disbursed $500,000 worth, $500,000 to assist in small business. And in the coming few months, when you pass through the Salibia constituency, you'll realize that economic activities is growing significantly, Madam Speaker. And I'm hoping that all citizens, in spite of your callers, you can take advantage of the small business unit that we have on this beautiful country of ours. And I'm encouraging my Kalinago people and the residents of Atkinson and Antrizal to also tap in their fingers to ensure that they get some form of assistance from the small business unit. While they say, anyway, I won't go there, Madam Speaker. But Madam Speaker, the allocations is for all Dominicans. And I hope that we can really take the opportunity to benefit from what is ours. Like I said, the budget is a people's budget. It is our budget, Madam Speaker. During the last financial year, we have seen a lot of exploration taking place in terms of finding new opportunities, Madam Speaker. And the majority of beneficiaries under the small business, they are saying thank you to the Dominican Labour Party for putting such mechanisms in place to have easier access to funding, Madam Speaker. In education, Madam Speaker, like I said, in this country, anyone who doesn't want, or I would rather say, anyone who is without an education, they don't want to be educated. Whether it is in adult education, after school classes, they are all available, Madam Speaker. And we really cannot blame this government. In fact, just last week, Madam Speaker, I understood that we had 9 Dominicans graduating from the Republic of Cuba, Madam Speaker. And one of those individuals there from the Salivia constituency. In fact, I had the opportunity to take him home yesterday afternoon coming from Cuba, Madam Speaker. And we are very grateful that the people of the Salivia constituency are really getting their share under the Dominican Labour Party. Madam Speaker, it is under this Dominican Labour Party administration that we have seen the unprecedented number of students leaving Dominica to pursue higher education. And Madam Speaker, in the past, students used to take loans to go abroad to study. Come back home, they're unable to pay for their loans. But today we have the government paying at least 99% of everyone's tuition who has gone abroad to study, including at the State College, Madam Speaker. And in the Salibia constituency, we are getting our fair share, Madam Speaker. And like I said, during the first term of the Dominican Labour Party, that was the first time we had 35 students at any one time leaving the country from the Salivia constituency to study in Venezuela. And now, Madam Speaker, they are back home giving their contribution towards the development of Dominica. Madam Speaker, when we hear the opposition speaking of we are doing nothing for young people, and they say that we are poor and we are this and we are that, we see illegal activities and crime and violence. The biggest culprit of crime and violence are those who are calling their people to protest on the street at particular time. Disturbing Parliament, Madam Speaker, instead of putting their hands together and join with us to build this country, like what we did in the Botanical Garden, Madam Speaker, this is what they should join us to do. And instead of sit down and criticize in front of a console, these things must stop, Hector, Honourable John. Oh, the member for Salisbury. Sorry, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Madam Speaker, for guiding me. And if I'm saying anything unparliamentary, please guide me because we may see it. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
You don't even have to ask.
Excuse me, Madam
You don't even have to ask.
Okay, thank you, Madam Speaker, for letting me know that. But, Madam Speaker, next month, Madam Speaker, next month, we will have another Kalinago brother leaving the Salibia constituency, traveling all the way to China to pursue his studies in engineering. To date, Madam Speaker, I can count of at least 5 individuals from the Salivia constituency who has gone to China to study. So soon, while the rest of the population now and then they mistake us for Chinese, then we may start speaking Chinese too. Madam Speaker, lest I forget, during the budget presentation yesterday, last week, sorry, and I'm looking at the faces of the members of the opposition. And Madam Speaker, I'm trying to find a decent word to describe their faces, but it's difficult to find. Very difficult. And the only thing I could come up with is zero. Oh, zero. There's no smile. There seems to be in their own world, like they are in a balloon and they cannot see from outside. Or, you know, like when a frog is at the bottom of a drum, it can only see what is above its head because it has no view of what the world is like outside. And this is how they saw this budget, Madam Speaker, because they cannot see the broader picture. They don't understand the broader picture of what is in this budget for every Dominican, Madam Speaker. Like I said, this budget is about making the learning environment more conducive for our physically challenged, Madam Speaker. And this is important. We have many cases, Madam Speaker, where those with physical disabilities must remain at home. One parent cannot go to work because this child is in need of 24 hours care. And you have maybe the father who might be a farmer, doesn't have the economic means to help that child, Madam Speaker. This individual remains at home, remain unproductive. But with this budget, Madam Speaker, we are seeing hope for those who are physically challenged. They will have the opportunity to go to school, have an education. And if it's so they can sew, Madam Speaker, they will learn to sew, Madam Speaker. And making it more conducive and friendly to the citizens with disability is a great ease on the immediate family, and I wholeheartedly welcome this aspect of this budget. And I want to let the listening public know, Madam Speaker, that in the Salivia constituency, we have started the process, and we are progressing. Those who are doing the typing, it might be difficult for you, so I'm going to take my time to pronounce it. It is the Isulukati Special Needs School in Crayfish River. It's a special needs school, Madam Speaker, where those with the challenges that we have just spoken of, where they are attending school. And they are being very creative. And they are doing something which is called from waste to gold, where they're using the old plastic bottles thrown away by whoever drank from them. They're collecting it and making it useful, Madam Speaker. That means, Madam Speaker, with this aspect for our physically challenged citizens, it means that the parents can now go to work. They have more breathing space and shoulder space to perform their chores, Madam Speaker. And helping children with special need, Madam Speaker, is good news, and I believe God is going to continue to bless the Dominican Labour Party to ensure that they remain in power to help those who are physically challenged. It's okay. The opposition, they don't need to be here because they don't have anything substantial to give to this honorable house. Madam Speaker, I'm particularly pleased that in this financial year, we have $100,000 allocated for the construction of the Sineku classroom block, which will be done during this financial year. And on behalf of the residents of Sineku, the students and parents, I want to say a special thanks to the Ministry of Education and the Honourable Peter Saint-Jean for ensuring that this is allocated for in this budget in this financial year. Mr. Saint-Jean, thank you very much, but I'll be coming for more. Madam Speaker, also in this financial year, Madam Speaker, we shall see the commencement of preliminary works on the construction of a cassava processing plant in the Salivia constituency, Madam Speaker. And for this, we have $100,000. And it is envisaged that before the end of this government terms in office, the plant will be completed and being operated. This, Madam Speaker, will add value to to the range of the tourism products that we hold in the Salibia constituency. This, Madam Speaker, is going to create employment, spur economic activities, and improve the community livelihood. And Madam Speaker, in the past, you know, people used to look down on the Kalinago people, and they used to say, cassava, to some extent, is a poor man's food. But today, Madam Speaker, cassava is no longer being seen as a poor man's food, but as a rich man's food. And, Madam Speaker, I hope it is not unparliamentary, but I can assure you that in the coming years, cassava is going to be the next sexy thing on the island. Because, Madam Speaker, under the Ministry of Trade, we have received assistance in providing training for people to learn to make different stuff from cassava, different products. And, Madam Speaker, there are a lot of other products that I can speak of, but due to time constraint, I would not really get into them. But, Madam Speaker, there's the energy product that I believe I'll bring a sample so that sometimes we can have a taste of the cassava products that we have in the constituency, Madam Speaker. Now, Madam Speaker, cassava is critical to our diet, and I wish Dominican can really start thinking of cassava in that way. And of course, in the food chain, Madam, as a matter of fact, Madam Speaker, it is one of the most resilient tropical crops that we have on island, Madam Speaker. We have banana, we used to call it green gold. Banana is gone, Madam Speaker. Sigatoka got rid of our bananas. It is known, Madam Speaker, cassava, Madam Speaker, is known to be the highest producer of carbohydrates among staple crops. And according to the FAO, Madam Speaker, cassava ranks 4th as a food crop in developing countries after rice, maize, and wheat. And cassava can be stored in the ground for several seasons, therefore serving as a food reserve. When other crops fail, Madam Speaker, cassava will remain standing. Madam Speaker, I assure you that cassava, like I said, is going to become our next goal. And cassava, Madam Speaker, has numerous qualities that we must pay attention to, such as improving our health and wellness, providing energies, protecting and repairing our body tissue, lowering blood cholesterol, reducing risk of heart disease, building strong bones, keeping normal metabolism, and most importantly, Madam Speaker, it has a cancer-fighting agent, meaning to say it is helping in preventing cancer, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, it is important because these days we are hearing of so many individuals, mostly our productive age, are suffering from cancer. And our ladies, Madam Speaker, it seems like we are losing them to cancer. And we need to do something to help, something in our diet to reverse that trend, Madam Speaker. And I believe cassava is going to help us in that aspect, Madam Speaker. And so, Madam Speaker, I welcome the fund for the development of the Kalinago People Cassava Processing Plant. Senator, the Honourable Senator from Cassava, I'll bring you some cassava products because it is going to help you quite a bit from aging, my friend. Madam Speaker, last year, during the launching of Kalinago Week, Madam Speaker, we made mention of a fund, an emergency fund for the Kalinago people. And I'm very happy, Madam Speaker, that starting off in this financial year, $60,000 was made available towards this fund, Madam Speaker. And I believe it is going to help the people of the Salibia constituency a long way. Because, you know, Madam Speaker, to come to the main city, we need to pay $10 to come, $10 to go, $10 to eat. It is a burden, Madam Speaker, especially for our elders who doesn't have the economic means, Madam Speaker. And sometimes you have unforeseen circumstances. A senior citizen made us fall and may damage his or her hips. We would be able, Madam Speaker, from this fund to almost instantly assist this individual in getting medical attention. And so, Madam Speaker, we welcome that in the Ministry of Kalinago Affairs. And really and truly, Madam Speaker, we are all fully aware of the unexpected events. And when they happen, most times we are not prepared. And this will assist us in doing just that, providing for our people, Madam Speaker. And of course, Madam Speaker, there are other elements in the Salivia constituency that everyone on island they are aware of. So no need to get into that. Madam Speaker, while putting mechanisms in place to create economic independence for the residents of the Salivia constituency, the Kalinago territory, most importantly, the fund will really go a long way in assisting us. In tourism, Madam Speaker, we have in this budget under the Ministry of Tourism and Urban Renewal, $250,000 for the renovation of the roof of the Kalinago Barana Oti, and $70,000 for signage and development at various tourism sites throughout the Salibia constituency, from Sineku to Antrizal. And Madam Speaker, I said Kalinago Barana Oti very slowly because, Madam Speaker, this is one of the best tourism site on island, or the tourism spot on island, Madam Speaker. And what the government has done, Madam Speaker, is to invest in this community by the seaside, Barana Oti, to ensure that employment is being created. And this $250,000 in renovating the roof, Madam Speaker, I see it creating employment for at least 15 individuals for a period of at least 2 months, Madam Speaker. Signage, Madam Speaker, people will know where they are heading to and where they are coming from. And Madam Speaker, along the way to the Kalinago Barana Oti, we have the Iwasi retreat, something that was highly criticized by the members on the opposition side. They said, oh, why put a retreat next to the Barana Oti? It's going to compete with the Barana Oti and they will not be able to make money. Madam Speaker, this is totally untrue, Madam Speaker. What we have seen, Madam Speaker, is that people can now come to the Kalinago Barana Oti, have a true feeling, a true experience of the Kalinago people's life in the past, and then have, can I find a proper word for them to describe it? This moment of silence with nature, Madam Speaker, at the Iwasi retreat. And we will continue to invest, Madam Speaker, if we have to. Farmers are benefiting because they must produce food for the Iwasi and the kitchen at Kalinago Barana Oti. Even those who are interested in planting vetiver for making oil, Madam Speaker, the vetiver people, who are the vetiver farmers, they are benefiting because they can now sell vetiver and earn a little income to help the family. So, Madam Speaker, the craft vendors, Madam Speaker, they are the ones going to benefit the most, Madam Speaker, because they are right there doing the craft. When the tourists are passing, they are buying from them. So we have on-the-spot demonstration, and this is what is attracting the visitors to the Kalinago Barana Oti, because they have a feel and a better appreciation for the culture and the people of the Salibia constituency. Madam Speaker, yesterday I heard the member for the Marigot constituency, the Honourable Lennox Linton, speaking about the playground or the playing field in Concord. When last have you visited Concord, Honourable Member, for the opposition? As a matter of fact, I am the one representing the people of Concord. I have cleaned the playing field for the people of Concord using the NEP. And what I have done, Madam Speaker, we have to be real, Madam Speaker. When I came, Madam Speaker, in moving around the constituency, I passed at a particular place in Concord. It's part of the Marigot constituency. And I saw the situation of an elderly lady. It's like you could stand on one side, on the road, you could almost see the river on the other side of the house by looking at the house. And I'm saying, but who is representing this part? They told me it's the member of the opposition, the leader of the opposition. And I said, I cannot, in this day and age, allow a lady to be living in such conditions. And I went to the Minister of Finance. Madam Speaker, and I said to him, sir, I have a situation in Concord that I must deal with. And Madam Speaker, I got the materials, the same materials they say I'm bribing people with. The lady is not voting in my constituency. The lady is voting in the member for Marigot constituency. I built her a home, Madam Speaker. Right now, Madam Speaker, the last time when I visited her, Madam Speaker, with this smile on her face, Madam Speaker, she told me, Pal Rep, come inside. This is my room. This is my son's room. This is my bathroom, and look, my kitchen. What do you want to eat? Something she could have never done where she used to live, Madam Speaker. And as a matter of fact, Madam Speaker, while my how do you call it, boundaries is from the territory to Antwistle, Madam Speaker, people from North End, they're coming to me, Madam Speaker, and they're asking me how can I assist them because they are getting no representation. And even in Marigot, Madam Speaker, I will just, after saying this, I will forget about Marigot for a while. That the people of Marigot, they've started calling me their pal because they see me coming and dealing with people, Madam Speaker. There are issues in Marigot to deal with. And the member for the opposition is fully aware that just next to Jeffrey in Marigot, I don't know, he call it, what road do you call it? Back road? The road is undermined, and I said, I need to make a little representation, first of a back wall there. And the same day when I passed, Madam Speaker, I spoke about it. 2 hours later, Madam Speaker, there was an accident. So, Madam Speaker, this shows the level of representation that the opposition gives. Madam Speaker, if you remember last time when I spoke right here in Parliament, I said that we need to beautify the entire road from Pokase to the airport, Madam Speaker. From Pokase to the airport, Madam Speaker. Up to now, Madam Speaker, I haven't seen anything done to clean and beautify the streets, the main street of Marigot, from the airport to North End, Madam Speaker. And what I have done, I will still continue to send my Kalinago people to clean Marigot if the member doesn't want to do it. And that's why I'm doing from North End. Yes, from North End. And if he gives me a little bit more time, I will clean the entire road from the airport to Pokase into Kenfield, Madam Speaker. Because it is a good feeling experience to drive on that beautiful road, clean with flowers planted. But it doesn't come to Marigot. Anyway, let me leave Marigot alone. So, Madam Speaker, sports development, in this budget, we have 50,000 for the further development of Jolly John's facility. We have started building the washrooms, and I can assure the residents of the Salibia constituency that the Jolly John's washroom and water will be installed during this financial year, Madam Speaker. As a matter of fact, as we are completed here, once the budget is approved, I will ask my PS to reserve the money so that we can start immediately on the completion of the washrooms at Jolly John's. And while I'm at Jolly John's, members of the opposition and my fellow cabinet colleagues, I would like to welcome you to the Kalinago territory on Saturdays and Sundays, because that's where we are having first-class cricket every weekend. So I welcome all of us here. And for some of the members who have never been to the Kalinago territory, since after election, sitting in one particular spot playing a little domino, and after election they abandon us. They go back home. They don't know if if their former deputy leader is alive or dead. They have never passed through the territory to see how the NEP is doing some beautiful works on our roads. They haven't passed to see the road developments that is ongoing. But you hear them on the radio talking about the minister for the Kalinago territory is doing nothing. I'll tell you what we are doing, Madam Speaker. We are empowering youth and business-minded people, farmers, and every aspect of the society, Madam Speaker. That's what we are doing in the Salibia constituency. Madam Speaker, over the past 2 years, we have spent, or this government has spent a lot of money in the Salibia constituency. And I will not go into the first one, I'm just going to do in the last 3 months, Madam Speaker. 3 months ago, Madam Speaker, we embarked on the Community Road Enhancement Program. And I'm very proud. I'm very happy to be a member of the Dominican Labour Party, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, I am proud to report that in the Antrizal community, we have spent $123,800 on the road in Antrizal, or how they call it, the Antrizal Community Road. We have spent that amount of money, and the road is completed, Madam Speaker. The people, they are happy that the road is completed. And they are saying thank you to the government for seeing it fit to fund the road. In Samuel in Atkinson, Madam Speaker, we have spent $45,850, Madam Speaker, and likewise they are very happy. On the Horseback Ridge, Madam Speaker, we are currently spending $390,250 on that piece of infrastructure, Madam Speaker. And I can tell you, Madam Speaker, the farmers, when they are passing, every day they are saying, thanks God for the Dominican Labour Party, because finally the road is being rehabilitated. Not only for the farmers, Madam Speaker, but this is a route that during the tourism season that is highly utilized, Madam Speaker. You stay there for 4 years, or you destroy the economy. Now you want to come and talk about 17 years. Madam Speaker, in the Upper Hilltown area, Madam Speaker, we are spending $137,500, and finishing touches is being done, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in Concord, Madam Speaker, we are spending $147,700, and Madam Speaker, again, we are doing finishing touches. In Sineku, we have spent $41,600. The road is completed, Madam Speaker. And let me see that. This, altogether, Madam Speaker, we have spent $886,700 for road rehabilitation in the Salibia constituency, Madam Speaker. And, Madam Speaker, most importantly, we have created employment for at least 70 individuals. And all the contractors, Madam Speaker, they are from the Salibia constituency. So you can well understand the economic spinach, Madam Speaker, that is going to have, the impact it is going to have on the local economy. Now, Madam Speaker, in this financial year, with funds coming from constituency empowerment, we will see the completion of the Salibia School Road, the Gullet River Betwoods Road, the Sineku Kwek Road, and the Badaka to Antrizal Road, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the funding from constituency empowerment, we will also see the commencement of a washroom facility in Sineku and in Gullet River, Madam Speaker. If anyone, Madam Speaker, in the Salibia constituency is not engaged now, like I said, for education, those who are not educated, they don't want to be educated. Those who are not engaged now, Madam Speaker, they don't want to be engaged. There is something for every individual in the Salibia constituency to do now to get some economic, to take advantage of the economics that we are having there now, Madam Speaker. Over the past 4 months, Madam Speaker, in the Salibia constituency, we have seen 170 young men, young men and women, Madam Speaker, have been employed in the constituency. And I expect that an increase in the coming few months, because we will have a lot of economic activities happening, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in terms of housing, really and truly, Madam Speaker, I don't know how much more we can thank the government for putting mechanisms in place to help the people of the Salibia constituency. Because really, I'm very happy with the amount that have been spent on housing, Madam Speaker. And we will continue. As a matter of fact, Madam Speaker, today, now as I speak, Madam Speaker, I'm building 4 new homes in Sineku for individuals who doesn't have a proper place to live, Madam Speaker. And the good thing is, Madam Speaker, we don't have to wait for budget to be approved for us to continue our programs, our projects. And these 4 houses, Madam Speaker, let me give you, and so that members of the opposition can better understand what the poor man is feeling, the man with no shoe on his feet, Isaac. They don't have no understanding of how difficult it is when we have a lady or an elderly man sleeping in his home, and when it is raining, you have to sit down on your bed and wait for the shower to be over. They don't know how difficult it is that when you wake up in the morning because you did not have a proper night rest, you feel fatigued. They don't have the luxury to sit and utter nonsense and still have to pay for their mouths, Madam Speaker. So these people, they are in need, Madam Speaker, and what I will ensure that I do is to ensure that every resident of the Salibia constituency has a proper place to rest his or her head, and when she wakes up in the morning, she can feel proud, or he can feel proud to say that I now have a place that I call home. And many of them, by the way, the member for the opposition, if you don't want the 15 houses that the Prime Minister was going to give to you, give it to me, I want it. There are many individuals that I need to help still. Yeah, pass it on to me. Because the government has been spending millions of dollars in terms of housing assistance. Madam Speaker, I've just completed 3 houses for single occupancy, Madam Speaker. And like I said, today we are starting 4 new structures, and these individuals, I'm hoping to hand over their keys to them by month end. We cannot waste time, because time is not waiting for us, Madam Speaker. So while members of the opposition, they can find time to go to Guyana, they can go to all other places, they cannot find time to come to things of interest in the Dominican interest. We don't have time, Madam Speaker, for that. We have time for us to ensure that we bring comfort to our people and let them have a better way of life, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, we can go on to deal with the sanitation program, Madam Speaker. In the Salibia constituency, in Sineku, Madam Speaker, we are now completing the sanitation program in the tune of $589,000, Madam Speaker, and it is bringing a great relief to the people of the Salibia constituency. Health, Madam Speaker, we hear about we're going to build 4 trauma centers in 4 corners of Dominica. Madam Speaker, right in Marigot, Madam Speaker, we'll see the commencement of the new Marigot Hospital. And they make the whole story about saying we don't have a hospital close to the airport. Where next? Where else? Do you have a hospital attached to the airport, Mr. Honorable Member for Marigot? I don't know. I tried my best. I researched, Madam Speaker. I couldn't find one. But, so Madam Speaker, we'll see the development of the health facility or the new Marigot Hospital commencing, Madam Speaker. And the member for Marigot is fully aware of that, Madam Speaker.
You have 5 minutes left.
No, that's okay. So, Madam Speaker, with that happening, Madam Speaker, and I have had my fair share, Madam Speaker, I understand what it is. Because the Salibia constituency is divided into 2 sections. One is to the Castlebrooks Health District, the other one onto the Marigot Health District. And so, Madam Speaker, sometimes, and it's a rough thing, it's tough to be a PAL rep in the Salibia constituency, because really and truly the only person that they know is the PAL rep. So when there's a situation at night, I've had instances where I have to leave to go to Wesley at 1 o'clock in the morning and must go back home to leave home at 6 o'clock to get to work, Madam Speaker. But with the new Marigot Hospital, it will definitely ease the community, Madam Speaker. And likewise, on the Castlebrooks end, it will help us, Madam Speaker. But most importantly for me, Madam Speaker, is the development of the new National Hospital. Because we have heard in several forums, the Honourable Minister of Finance and Prime Minister, he said that we piloted the free healthcare program started in the Salibia constituency. When he visited and some elderly lady home sick, can't go to the hospital because they are owing a little thing. And he said 60 years and over, we don't have to, well, they don't have to pay, but the government must pay for the services for them, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, with the new hospital coming in, Madam Speaker, I believe every Dominican, every right-thinking Dominican, and every patriotic Dominican must say thank you to the Chinese government for giving us such a gift, Madam Speaker. So Madam Speaker, I would like to ask members on the opposition and fellow Dominicans alike to embrace what we have today. We don't know what we will get tomorrow. And when I started, I said, "Le macaque with see." When the monkey cannot reach the grapes, it is saying the grapes is sour. And most importantly, though, Madam Speaker, it's the male monkey who will say that to the female monkey, because the female monkey is asking for grapes, but the male monkey cannot reach the grapes. It's the grapes is sour. Now, Madam Speaker, when we go around criticizing the CBI, Madam Speaker, and saying there's no due diligence, and we are putting passport in the hands of criminals, they can't reach it yet. But be careful what we do, because when you think that the grapes will still be bearing, and you're criticizing it now saying it is sour, be careful that when the day come, God forbid, and you get in power for you to reach that grapes, it will not be bearing anymore, and you will be in serious problem, Madam Speaker. Because Madam Speaker, this is the livelihood of our economy, Madam Speaker. And when instead of embracing the opportunities that we have, we are trying to throw them away. And so, Madam Speaker, you see, even in agriculture, Madam Speaker, we are seeing so much is being done in agriculture now. We have never seen this happening before, Madam Speaker. And you come and sit down and criticize. But, Madam Speaker, I have good news for them that in the Salibia constituency, also, Madam Speaker, we will see the commencement of the development of an agricultural station, Madam Speaker. And this is going to help us significantly. Not too long ago, I don't want to talk too much about Marigot, but it's annoying to see the amount of lands, Madam Speaker.
1 minute left.
Yeah.
I move that the Honourable Minister for Collin Affairs be given an additional 5 minutes to complete his presentation.
Seconded, Madam Speaker.
It has been moved and seconded that the minister be given a further 5 minutes to complete his contribution. Those in favor? Aye. Those against? The ayes have it. Continue, please.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Like I was saying, Madam Speaker, I pass through the communities of the community of Marigot, Madam Speaker, and I'm looking at the amount of lands, Madam Speaker, that is being wasted. And I'm saying, but this place is really and truly almost abandoned. And there are opportunities in agriculture, Madam Speaker, that the people, the residents of, starting from Portsmouth, way back to Castle Bruce until we get to the other end of Dominica, Madam Speaker, there are opportunities for us. But instead we take the opportunities, or some of us, we are discouraging our residents to take those opportunities, Madam Speaker. I really don't know how to describe it, Madam Speaker, but it is hurting to see that people who should know better among us, they are the ones discouraging people. I have instances, Madam Speaker, where individuals came to me and asked questions about the funds at the Aid Bank, and I gave them the little information that I had. And they said, Madam Speaker, but when my pal rep came to me and the pal rep told me, for you to get a loan at the Aid Bank, you have to, you need land title. You need to have a home of more than $100 and something thousand. You need X, you need Y. The only thing they didn't ask for is a birth certificate. But that is the old news they have out there, Madam Speaker, discouraging people. But we are on our mission, Madam Speaker, to make life better for every citizen. and we will continue to do that. We have the hotels been constructed in Portsmouth, where we will have hundreds of people, hundreds of opportunities. Vacancies will be available for people to take advantage of, Madam Speaker. But instead of encouraging people to get into agriculture, go into the right field, and let us see how we can capitalize on the opportunities that we have a minority few among us discouraging our people. And let me just say this finally, Madam Speaker, that those, or the member for Salisbury, who just said a moment ago about the bribing with galvanized plywood and stuff, so, my friend, I will continue to do that as long as I live. I will help my people to ensure that there is a better roof over their head, there's a better surrounding for them to live, and if needs be, I will go to take care of them myself, Madam Speaker, because this is what the Creator has us for.
That's right.
We have a very short time on earth, Madam Speaker, and if we don't spend it wisely, when we are before the Creator, He will deal with us, Madam Speaker. And I, Madam Speaker, I'm just entering my 40s somewhere about. I still believe that I have a little life to live still. But those who are almost nearing retirement, Madam Speaker, they need to be careful what they are doing. Because I don't want for when I'm walking the streets in the Kalinago territory, an old man, and my stick drops from my hand, and for one of those young Kalinagos to take my stick and throw it in the bush. I want for when I'm walking, Madam Speaker, in my old age, that I'm walking with my stick, a young Kalinago brethren will come, they will hold my hand and they'll say, whatever they call me, let me help you to walk the distance that you are going through, Madam Speaker. Because we need to care for our people, understand their pains, Madam Speaker, and how we can help them. With this, Madam Speaker, I fully support the estimates for 2017-2018, Madam Speaker. May God bless Dominica, and may God continue to bless the Dominica Labour Party. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Good morning, Madam Speaker. Good morning to the Honourable House. I first would like to start the presentation, my presentation today, by taking care of some house cleaning matters, basically to deal with the leader of the opposition when he delivered what he claims was a response to the Prime Minister's budget. But, Madam Speaker, as usual, I must correct some of the misinformation. The leader of the opposition gave, first of all, I support the Prime Minister's, the national budget as presented by our Prime Minister. And, Madam Speaker, before I go into the house clean matters, I must say, Madam Speaker, this is one time in my whole life, and Madam Speaker, I lived a little bit of my life already, that I would not like to be in opposition. And the reason for that, Madam Speaker, is the budget as presented by the Prime Minister. This is one of our best budgets. I'm not going to lie.
Yes, without a doubt.
I mean, we have all presented very good budgets, but this one really and truly is a difficult one to speak or to have an alternative budget for, given the times in which we live. So I really feel your pain, sir, the leader of the opposition. I feel your pain. However, and members, of course, However, but let's clear up some of the misinformation. The leader of the opposition targeted the Roseau Valley firstly by wanting to abolish the geothermal project.
Yeah.
I was stunned at that, to be honest with you. As someone, you know, wanting to be a leader one day, God will not forbid that, of course, God forbid, to really come based on the level of investment that we have, you know, placed on this project already, to come and say to the nation that you would stop this project. And you spoke about wind, solar, and hydro. But leader of the opposition, that was total madness on your part, and I think you should apologize to the nation for such a statement, to be honest with you, and the people of the Roseau Valley, because they'll not forget you for that. The people of the Roseau Valley understand the importance of the geothermal project to them, the valley being the energy nerve in Dominica, of course. We have gone through with the hydro program many years ago. It's supplying us about 35% electricity. We have gone on, we know what it is with fossil fuel. We don't produce it. And last time we were drilling the production wells in Luda and throughout the Roseau Valley, we never noticed any form of the crude coming from there. So we don't have oil. We know that for a fact. But you said You'd abolish it, you'd bring on solar. I mean, you understand the terrain of Dominica, you understand the climatic conditions, how much sun we have per day and all of that, and the cycle. Obviously, you wouldn't thinking, well, also too, in terms of the wind and the wind current and whatnot, where the wind is going to pass through Dominica, we don't have that among. You'll get some on the hills and whatnot, but Dominica is not a very, very windy country. Mark you, hold on, listen. I'm pure science on this program. Yeah, listen to that. Because I want you all fellas to understand it, and I know you all will understand it. No. You can speak of wind and whatnot, not bad, you know, you can have a little thing in your backyard and whatnot, but to run this country, we need more than just what you're thinking of. You are blessed per capita, and Dominica being a country where you have probably the most mountains, I want to call them most little hot spots. I wouldn't call them volcanoes, but that's where they came from. You are blessed per capita with the most in the world almost. And you have this potential and you have the resource and you want to abandon it and abolish it. It's clean. Something is wrong with you, sir. And I beg that you go back to the drawing board. Based on the investment we have carried out to date, and they all listed here, and the Prime Minister spoke about them, you know, we have, government, we have contributed at least $40.5 million. This is not a joke. This is not no pie in the sky program, as you spoke about a number of them. We have a lot of grant funding, $30 million from the government of the United Kingdom. We had about a 5.4 from the government of New Zealand, and Casius $2 million. I wouldn't go on with all of these figures because the Prime Minister read them on today. And of course, there's even money for future drilling. So let's club this one as a mistake, and the people of the Valley, they're actually waiting for an apology for having made a statement like that in terms of the geothermal project, because they see it as their bread and their future. When we were discussing the geothermal project, and of course you all know what you all did in terms of trying to mount campaigns against it. I think you're quite aware of it in the early days, but you have failed. And you have failed. And we know what's going to happen for the people in the Rosa Valley in terms of the fund they'll put up for their development and their social well-being. So do not do that to the Rosa Valley. I beg of you to correct that mistake. This is one. You went on to speak about feeder roads, and this government is doing poorly on that. That's so sad. As we speak, you have the BAM roads, some of them in your area and some of your areas as well too. We have the feeder roads, and we have a number of different lots. And the feeder roads are going to come up to 7.5 million euros, and we can convert that into 21 million EC dollars. This is a lot of money. And we're going to be doing various lots. I'm sure the Minister of Agriculture will elaborate more, but just to clear it up as well, to give you the context of the development plan of this government, we are looking at 1, 2, 3 lots. And I'll name them again for the nation to hear. The Syndicate and the Salisbury Road, that's lot 1. We have the Bois, Bellevue, Frial, Tigran 4, Montine, Middle Region, Calibishi Road, that's lot 2. And we have the Melvin Hall and the Colliho Road in lot 3. Gentlemen, members of the opposition, please understand that Dominica is not an easy country. It's a very difficult country based on its terrain. And we're injecting $21 million into the economy in terms of feeder road development. I think it'll go a long way. This is not all alone. We're actually looking at a new list of feeder roads that we plan to build very soon from now, following on from that, because we know that's not all the feeder roads. However, we are urging the farmers to help us to clean the roads, to unblock the drains, because Dominica, we rain a lot here, and just a drain being blocked can create a problem for us. Now, gentlemen, we must be careful when we discuss and we say things in terms of government's program. We talk about secondary roads. I don't want to spend too much time on that, Mr. Speaker. I just want to clear up some of it. The leader of the opposition went on to spend his entire budget period speaking about CBI and electoral reform. I was kind of scared and surprised when I heard him towards the end try to come back on target and try to hit back some of the areas, you know. But this is a national budget, as I've said. It's difficult to go and present an alternative budget to this one. So I understand you had to kill some time in CBI. You are the same leader of the opposition who came on here and attacked it furiously. And I warned you then. I remember that quite clearly. I warned you then. I warned you, and I said to you, any Dominican who can append his signature to a letter given to you like that, written by the outside forces, we know who they are. We know who they are.
His financiers.
We cannot allow these things. We cannot put our signature to things like that. They're going to hurt this country. This is our country. A lot of us only can call Dominica home. Roseau is my New York City. Eh? It is my New York City because I'm from the Roseau Valley. And when I came to Roseau in February sometime of this year, I remember that quite clearly. The folks in the Roseau Valley, we work in Roseau, we live in Roseau, we shop in Roseau, we send our children to school in Roseau. Roseau is our New York City. When I come down, I put on my nice little clothes, I go on my bayfront. This is my New York City. And to come down on that day in February and see my city ablazed, it hurt me. It hurt me. I want to make it abundantly clear for you all here on the other side. It is my New York City. I depend on it. I was not happy. And my friend here, Honourable Roseau Central, Mr. Honourable Joseph Isaac, I want to say to you, do not allow these friends of yours on the other side there to do that to the city for me. Please. This is my New York City. It's going to hurt me, and I want you to, I'm passionate about it, actually. Passionate about it. It actually hurt me. I mean, I spoke to my friend, Hector is a good friend of mine, Hector, we speak, and we spoke about the road issues and whatnot, and the fire as well, too. Yeah. Hector myself are cool, I'm not going to say anything. Hector is all right, for me. Yeah, member for Salisbury, and we spoke about that, but that's another area I didn't like as such, though. I'll be honest with you, and we spoke, that's okay, right. Yeah, I'm serious. When I speak facts, gentlemen, so you'll know it is. Okay. We spoke about the CBI, coming back to it a little bit, because I have to bring in the things as they come in. I have a lot to speak about today, but I'll only do it in 1 hour, Mr. Speaker. Okay, so we spent all our time on CBI. When we came here last session, we came to this parliament, a lot of barricades out there. We had the policemen were there trying to have to put some peace in the place. When you all came, and you all mentioned that you wanted electoral reform, we took you seriously. We said, we'll move on with it, we'll see what you're saying, and let's see. So we brought in some reform, but you all decided, but hold on now. If we were to implement this project here in terms of the reform, it will hurt us. You all thought so, you all asked for it. What you all did, you all went out there, and started having the people in person with bums of food, no meat outside there on the road. I mean, it was painful to the people to put them in the huts and doing that sort of thing, protesting what you asked for. It hurt me again. And I want to say to you all, if you all serious, then you a new thing came in your voter program. The leader of the opposition spoke about $30. I thought the man would have said, Mr. Speaker, 40 for something at least, Monsieur. Not $30 per voter. No, not $30 per voter. I mean, come on, how you can watch a Dominican and say you're going to pay them $30? That's an insult. This government doesn't get involved in things like that. We move this country, people are excited. People come from to visit their people, they may come to vote. We're not sending for them. One guy said to me, one of your strategists, in the early days when you all thought you all had a little something, he said to me, you know something, Collin? We did the same thing in UWP, you know, strategies, you know. Of course. But you all guys look like you all can do it better than us. Now, what you're saying in terms of how, I'm talking about bringing people in, don't misunderstand me at all. Talking about how you energize your people and how you get them to vote for you. So let us be careful how we try to disenfranchise our people in the alternative budget and spending so much time on it, knowing very well that we cannot disenfranchise our people in terms of when they come to vote. And those of them living here or living abroad, I mean, a Dominican has to be able to come back to his country to vote. The US is a more developed country than us. What are we talking about, gentlemen? We like to talk about developed countries and whatnot. What are we talking about? People, the US people can vote absentee. In this little Dominica, with this government trying to make things happen, you want to disenfranchise our people, we'll not let that happen at all. Okay? Right. Education. I was stunned that when the leader of the opposition spoke about education, where he said about what you would do. Well, understanding education, you have to be part of it, to be honest with you. No matter, Mr. Speaker, education is critical to this government. And it is the only government to date, and I've lived through a few governments. I wasn't so conscious in those days in terms of Patrick John period. I wasn't that conscious because I was a young fella. I mean, I knew of it because I was in the SMA match and whatnot, and, you know, that's how PJ went out. I'm aware of it. Then we went on to the Miss Charles era of blessed memory. Very great era in Dominica. Put some discipline in the place, got the place back on its track. It was moving, and that was in that time. We had a very unfortunate period of that when we had the UW coming to power, and they started just doing things. They brought the economy down, and I think Honourable Douglas, he already gave you all the, delivered on that in terms of the ills of that period. So I'm not going to go over that. We know it and it's vivid in our minds. And then we came on to the DLP period. And this has been the best period in Dominica. Best period. And I'm not saying that with any bias in my mind, because I'm not a biased man. If you members of the opposition say something that makes sense, and I always say to you, I'm listening to what you have to say, because I want to learn from you, but it is very difficult for me. I'm not saying that because you're in the opposition. It is difficult for me. Yeah. No, this government, the Dominican Labour Party government, and we are blessed, you know. I'll tell you why we are blessed. The Prime Minister was once the Minister of Education. He understands it. You have my friend here, Honourable Seja, who is rooted in education as well too, in terms of the vision. And you have all of us here, every single member here, with some form of serious education and a backing and a passion for it. So our educational program is way above what you have ever spoken about. And this government, the Dominican Labour Party, is the government that has produced the most graduates in any government in the history of Dominica. Non-bias, non-bias. What we have realized now, we have gone on to say a university graduate for whom? Fine. We have gone on to exhaust the BSc level, the first degree level, and we have done well. The world/Dominica requires more than just a first level, a first degree right now. We need more than that. And what we have done in this budget is we started looking at, and we have looked at expertise, specialization. Dominica is not a simple country. Dominica is not just a basic first degree type of country. It requires specialists. And what we want to embark on in this budget is we're going to start looking at our priority areas for development. We know what we have. We know what's happening in the Roseau Valley and all around Dominica, the sort of edge failures we have in, the sort of hydrology that's required, the sort of engineering, the doctors we require, I was going to say lawyers, so we need some serious lawyers. We're more senior counsels as well too. We need them as well too. However, we need more than just that for Dominica. And in this budget, we have placed money where we're going to be targeting priority areas for development and specialized training. This is the vision of a government that's thinking, man. Come on. The member of the opposition came on here, the leader, he spoke about education. I mean, just ran over it fast. I mean, I know you had to try something, but you had to speak with a sort of leadership in terms of where we're going with education. And to me, that is the future, but where we're going. As I've mentioned to you, we can no longer depend on just a first degree. We need specialization. We need specialists, the various fields required for this difficult piece of real estate we have in Dominica. It's not a joke at all, but it's a lovely country. As the AG has always said, our beauty is our challenge, and that's true. We need more than just that, okay? Now, just to touch a little bit on, yes, agriculture. I'm just clearing up. I'll come back to the main parts after. The leader of the opposition in his delivery spoke about very deficient budget in terms of black cigar token. Now, gentlemen, if we had put in every single protocol in this budget, the budget is so good already, it'll take the Prime Minister a whole week to read the budget. We cannot put in every single protocol like black cigar token will go out there and spray every 2 weeks. We'll mix it at 1 ounce per this. We cannot do that in this budget. So to talk about the budget being deficient in terms of black cigar token and its management program and control program, we are off with that. We are off with that. There are protocols here, right? I speak with you. Look, there's a protocol here on black cigar token. But we cannot put a whole 5 pages on black cigar token in a budget for the nation. The nation, they will hear about black cigar token disease control and they'll say it. But we can't put all the protocols. So understand, when you make statements like that, you're trying to bring in, as they say, the Prime Minister has not done this, has not done that. So, member for the Marigot constituency, please be informed as to how a budget is prepared, and you cannot bring in every single little detail, like it's the ABC little programming running here. We run a serious government. And this is not how it's done, and this is how it's done, so that is why it's not there. But I thought I had to make the nation know that was another mistake again, of course, by the opposition. And Mr. Speaker, I think we have gone on. Let's clear out a few parts now. The Honourable Douglas, I said, he spoke a lot about the ills of the speech of the opposition leader, so I'm not going too much of that again, but just to clear up a few. It's a pity. I was hoping that I would have heard a few of the members of the opposition speak, because I know there's a lot more to clear up. A lot of misinformation is going to be coming here. But I think our able-bodied team here, of members here, they want to deal with that. Okay? So let's move on to other business now. Now, Mr. Speaker, agriculture, and we're quite heavy in agriculture. This government has really created a serious platform for agricultural development. Over the years, we have spoken about packhouses. Mr. Member for the Roseau Central Constituency knows about it. He worked in that program as well too. He's not there anymore. But this government, the Honourable Ian Douglas, member for Portsmouth, and his team together at the Ministry of Agriculture and Dexia, we now have operationalized our pack houses. And they're doing a tremendous job there. I remember in the days earlier on, Mr. Comer talked about they being built and whatnot, but they're actually operationalized right now. And what we're doing now, we are focusing on continued agricultural diversification. We spoke about the ills of the banana industry, sadly not understanding what's happening in terms of banana. Banana is nothing about the Lomnica Labour Party or the Freedom Party or the UWP. Well, the UWP really played a lot of politics in that day in the banana industry, and they caused a lot of problems and friction. You can see the remnants of it just fading away as we continue to move on and new ones establishing. But this government over the years, and we've been there for a little while, I must admit, we have invested heavily in agriculture. Contrary to what you say, I heard you mention about 50 million in agriculture, just bloom like that. No plan for it, no nothing. I can call 100 million right away here today too. I wouldn't do that. We have a structured approach to agriculture. We know right now we're going to start going back to the regional markets more in September in terms of banana production. We know in the first quarter of 2017 we'll be back in the UK market together with Winfresh, and of course the works of Kevin Stevenson, Angus McIntyre, my brother, Winfresh, Conibert. We will be back in that market, but that market requires a lot because the consumers up there are demanding what they want. So yes, we can stay here, speak about black sigatoka disease, but we have to make sure that we are placing chemicals in the fruit in terms of the control that the consumers want. You can't just place any kind of chemical in there because your market demands what happens here. So let's understand the dynamics and what's required of that market and what this government is doing in terms of black sigatoka and replanting in terms of all our tissue culture plantlets coming from France, CRAD/relationship, these are research units. And we have a number of varieties here. Now, something that I want you all to understand, members of the opposition and the nation, is these are not resistant plants. They are not tolerant plants neither. These plants are susceptible to black sigatoka disease. But what we must understand, these plants are the preferred variety for the market in terms of palatability and the taste. So what you have to do, that's the Cavendish, and they have different ones. What you do now, you must put a control program in place to control this black sigatoka disease such that you can produce plants that are palatable and required on the market. So understand that. They're not tolerant nor resistant varieties. What we plan to do, which is not as palatable to the mouth and to the taste, is bringing in more resistant varieties for backyard operations. And in these backyard operations, where you don't have, say the member for Marigot may want to plant a banana tree in his backyard, but he has no management program for it. He'll plant 2. It won't come down any black sigatoka, but it's not as palatable. Mr. Isaac, you may want to plant 1 in your yard, and that's what's happening here. So let us understand the dynamics of it, and let us understand that this is what this government is doing. And let us try to understand the science of it rather than just saying things that we're not sure of and mixing up the population. But I think our population is at the level right now where we have to feed them facts. We understand that, gentlemen? Right. We notice as well, too, in terms of agriculture, we notice that the non-banana crops, we speak about the root crops, the tanias, the dashin, the yams, the cassava, and I'll speak a little bit on cassava and your cancer program toward the end of this debate, because I like to bring a little health aspect to it too, which is very exciting sometimes and very informative. But we know that they have really gone on to hold a serious share of that market right now. And when I spoke with the Honourable Minister of Trade, because we speak, well, the whole cabinet sits and we decide, but I always speak with him a lot because I'm a farmer myself and I want to plant and I want to understand the dynamics of the market. When I spoke with him, he's saying to me, and we are seeing it, that there's a lot of dashing, there's tania, there's yams that have caught up and technically sort of not displaced, but matching up to what banana is to do for us. So here it is, we are coming back with banana in September in Antigua and the regional markets. In the first quarter of 2018, we'll be back in the UK market, so we'll have a heightened among there. Your root crops are doing very well there. What we want to do right now is to place money, and we are continuing to do that in terms of the entrepreneurs and the manufacturers, seeing that how we can add value. So this is the dynamism of this budget. This budget is not a budget, you put so much money in agriculture, you talk about manufacturers, it's focused, it goes towards a path. You put money here, you're going to get that, let's process that, add value, and we can work with that. Understood? Right. So when we speak of the budget, this is how the budget was crafted. That's why, Mr. Speaker, it's very difficult to come and try to speak of an alternative budget, because it is difficult to get into the brain waves of the Minister of Finance to understand where he's thinking. And you see this team here? It's a very serious team. It's not a team that plays at all. I know that you all are very attentive, so I'm very happy for that as well, too. Okay. Let me move on to some parts as well, too. I don't want to mix up the papers here at all, because I have so much to say today. Yeah. Now, and of course, we spoke about the modernization. But I'm not going to bug you more with agriculture here, because Honourable Jano, coming sometime today, very dynamic fella, to be honest with you. Very dynamic man. Yeah. Now, we spoke about the abattoir. We've been criticizing the abattoir. I've lived through Dominica for a long period. I'm a veterinarian. I know a little bit about livestock. My first degree. No, he's all right, yeah. Okay, abattoir. This is the only government to date. In the early days when we spoke about the abattoir, you all came in here and you all spoke about, the members of the opposition I'm referring to, sir, you all spoke about, we criticized the abattoir. This gentleman, I've been a veterinarian for a while now. This is the only government to date that was brave enough to put his investment in an abattoir. I'll be honest with you. It's a state-of-the-art abattoir. State-of-the-art. This is the only government which is actually giving livestock a real good push. I'm a veterinarian, I know what I'm telling you. We heard of little projects before from some of the foreign friends, they have dried up. But this government is putting its money in terms of that. What I'd like for you all to do, and Dominicans to do, let us continue to buy more of it. Let's buy more of our local meats. Because the local meats in Dominica, they don't have the hormones, they don't have the antibiotics that's going to mess with you. See our ladies start growing beard just now. We don't want to do that at all. You know, or young males trying to grow breasts. We don't want that here. So that is why we make sure that when we introduce any sort of feed program in Dominica, that they are, they don't contain antibiotics and they don't contain the hormones, and of course the coloring agents. You see this lovely meat placed on shelves. Nice pink, reddish meat. These things are impregnated with chemical agents in terms of coloring agents to give it that look. But when you have your wholesome meat produced right there in Layu, fed locally, your pork fed locally, and of course the veterinary unit is well developed right now, such that we can deworm more animals, they're wholesome, and they're fit for human consumption. We have a serious program here. What I'd like you all to do for your businesses and to encourage it and to support this side, this government, let us push the abattoir, gentlemen. This is what we have. This is ours. This is ours. It's ours. Now, cocoa, for example. I mean, I don't know how much you know about cocoa, but cocoa, we have been very good in cocoa production in Dominica. We have top quality cocoa here, and we have remnants of our old established plots. What we are doing right now in the Ministry of Agriculture, we're looking at the various cultivars, because we cannot just go out there and say, plant a cocoa seed. Because of pollination, you'll have different, it won't be true to type. So the Ministry of Agriculture, for its program, they're looking at the selected cultivars such that we can plant only what's required and is of that high quality. So yes, it's taking a little time, but we're getting there. And the plan here is to increase production. The cocoa sticks, for example, and I don't only want to speak about cocoa sticks. I want to get back to the days where we can have it in a nice little container, be it glass or plastic, whatever you have. Put it there and we can send it out there. That's added value. And I've spoken to, since in the days of when I was the Minister of Trade, I remember that quite well, when we used to be selling our cocoa to Grenada. I wasn't in favor of that at all. I'll be honest with you, but I think more and more, because we lack the capacity for value added and whatnot. But now, with our investment in agriculture and with what we are doing right now, we can do that. We don't have to send our cocoa outside. And this is the plan, because you really get more from value added than just selling raw material. And this is for all of agricultural crops, as well too. Also including that is our livestock. I'd like to see us go into a little sausage production, a little this here and that, where you can have adding some value to it, because value added, and this is why this budget is focused heavily on value added, because value added is what gives you that extra little edge and the amount of money required for it rather than raw material. So this is what we're doing for our farmers here. So cocoa is one that's on the front burner for sure and continue to be there. And with our new thrust in agriculture, we're going to look at the varieties, looking at the value-added aspect of it and whatever infrastructure that's required to take cocoa to that level, because Dominican cocoa fetches a serious price. To talk about the French market, our neighbors there, where we have serious population, it fetches a serious price. Coffee. Dominica has been very good on coffee, and I know you're going to say, okay, the coffee plant in Portsmouth. Gentlemen, don't waste your time on that. Be honest with you. Our friends are experiencing a little difficulty. Venezuela, they've been very good to us. And don't make nobody fool you, know. If you all were the ones in government, you ought to be very good friends with Venezuela, you know. But you see, we are such that our government is, when our friends are in problems, and of course it's sad to see what's happening, this sort of a target that they're placing on Venezuela, all because of oil. That's what's happening in the Middle East too. Let's open our minds, understand the wars that's taking place in the world right now. It's all about oil. And of course, if you can get control of a resource, though, you see what happened, they reduce the price of the oil, they're trying to collapse of some of this country. Even Saudis are having a little difficulty too, you know. That's why these guys in the Middle East, they have to move very fast right now, you know, to lay down investments for the future. Because when you have some countries saying to you by 2040, 2050, everything is electric, you're trying to make sure that oil is placed on a back burner. So the fortunes of what they ripped before will be a problem. Understand now, there's still a thirst and a hunger for the oil. And we will go ahead trying to cripple a brother, a sister country like Venezuela, get that oil. But the coffee plant now, yes, it's part of that program because that is the funds coming from the ALBA and whatnot to help us. Now, because of a little turmoil in Venezuela and the joint partnership of the Venezuela Dominica company to run this coffee plant, of course, coupled with, I hope you know that, a lightning bolt struck the plant, blew the transformer clean off. I hope I'm making sure that you understand the science of it. This is what's affecting the coffee plant. But gentlemen, understand one thing. This coffee plant is on Dominican soil, so what does that mean? I won't say more. And we will get it working, okay? But I sympathize with our friends. Sometimes they have their little difficulties and we have to understand. But coffee, in terms of syndicate, and I'm sure my members on my side here who know about syndicate and the quality of coffee, we have a very good quality. Our French neighbors, there's a ready market for it, so we will work with that. So don't come here and say, okay, coffee plant. Waste your time on that fella's mind. So hear what's wrong with the coffee plant for now. Coconut rehabilitation, agriculture again. I have a passion for it. It's serious economic development. Understand it. And I'll touch on areas where I figure that we need to know about. Yesterday we happened to be in the, just for a few hours, we went to Martinique. And you see one thing about this government, you see everybody here, we've established teams. And almost every single member here has visited Comrade Ivor. And I report to the House, Ivor has made tremendous recovery. Tremendous. And the gentlemen, we are all earthly mortals, eh? Let's be careful with that. Eh? No one's, I remember when he was a minister then, was sick, had a problem with the whatnot. Wish the man deaf. I'll speak soft here. Wish this deaf. Sadly, not understanding that we are earthly mortals and we can all drop and we will drop one day. Let us be careful with that, fellas. Let's be careful with that. All right, I won't say more on that. However, he's doing well and, you know, he'll be all right. Coconut rehabilitation. While I was in the French area, we were greeted with some lovely coconut water in bottles. And the Honourable Minister of Trade said to me, and the Prime Minister as well said to me, this is something I'd like to do for here, for Dominica. I said to him, well, according to the FAO study, we are way advanced with it. And what this government is going to undertake very soon is another coconut rehabilitation program. Not the tall fellas for the copra days. I mean, copra is all right, we like to get it, but per acre, coconut, unless you start marketing the fresh water itself, what's coming from it, isotonic almost can be put in your veins, you know that? Yeah, you can, you know, very good, you know, for drips. We want to start looking at resistant varieties. And while I was there, the Prime Minister said to me, you know, I've also received correspondence from a neighboring friend of ours, a good friend of Dominica, in terms of a resistant variety to the red palm mite. And I said to the Prime Minister, definitely we should go ahead with that, because I don't know how many of you all know what's happening to our coconuts here, and there's a mite problem affecting it. We'll be able to survive because Dominica, in terms of its dynamism of its environment and its climate, these diseases don't last well here at all. We've been able, you know, to fight them out naturally in terms of what's available. But I still believe with the new program, we'll bring in some resistant varieties, cultivars of coconuts from this friendly government, and I'd like to move on that fast. I got to know that yesterday, and I was excited about it, and it came from our Prime Minister, which is a very good move. So the coconut program will expand it, because as you know, gentlemen, coconut's very important for the economy of Dominica, and it's helping us. Manufacturing, we heard about it in the budget this year. We'll have the 15 million, at least the usual 3% grace periods of between 3 to the 12-month period in terms of helping our manufacturers. And they're very happy about it, very, very happy. So we have had about three facilities so far. One in agriculture, one in tourism. You speak about the people in tourist industry, they're not going after it. No, it's not that. You must understand the money was placed there for a particular reason. The money wasn't placed for refinancing. Okay, because this government aim is not to upset the banking system in Dominica. If a hotel plant has a particular loan with a bank, for example, you cannot just suddenly go and just knock it out and create that imbalance. So we have to understand the dynamics of economics in the country and the whole financial system. And the money was placed for that in terms of upgrade. You want to bring in some new equipment, and that's what's required in the tourist industry. So understand the use of the money of these facilities. So we have agriculture, we have tourism, now in manufacturing, and before the years end this up, you might even have a new one coming very soon, because we want to put that money back in the hands of the people. That's what we want to do. It's people-centered politics. We have to understand that. So manufacturers are going to be getting something very soon, as in this budget here, and it'll go towards helping them up in terms of improving on their manufacturing capacity and the whole value-added program he spoke about. Don't talk about construction. I heard the leader of the opposition, when he spoke, he mentioned about the balance in terms of imports and exports. Now, I'll be honest with you, gentlemen. If you have to measure the balance of trade in terms of imports and exports, and I'm a poor little veterinarian, so I may try my little economics now and again. That's my ministry. But it's pure basic common sense. The boom we have in the country right now in terms of construction, and as the member for the Calif-Salbia constituency said, while we were in the gardens trying to build this road, a lot of shortages of cement, lots of shortages. We struggled with it, but we had Dominicans coming together in terms of construction. That's just a little preamble to where I'm going. And then now, February, remember that date, fellas? Y'all were burning down Roseau, but we're trying to build Roseau back. Let's not do that. I'll bring it in every now and again because that's my New York City and one of y'all fellas. All right. However, when you look at the balance of trade, well, you can tell me that I saw you there in your dark shades looking well too, you know. When we were trying to burn down Roseau, sorry, I've been talking about Roseau too much now. When we were trying to develop this country, we have a serious consumption of cement and building materials. Every other week in Dominica, every 2 weeks, there's no BRC, there's no steel, there's no cement. That's not because of any sort of sanction type measures on the country, you know. That's an economy that's booming, it's just absorbing. When you think of Kipinski down in Portsmouth, major development there, I hope when you pass it sometimes, you have a look at it and realize the dynamism of this government in terms of moving that sector forward now. And gone are the days when we're going to speak about whatever style level ready rooms. We're going to have them. We're going to have them. Kipinski down the road. You criticize the Moroccan hotel, that's fine. I'm not going to say no, criticize it. But watch me, state of the art finishing by our Moroccan teams working inside here, giving it that Moroccan touch. And gentlemen, yes, it may have taken a few extra years here and there. And understand, it's not the government's fault. It's all because of the arrangement and the change of governments in these countries. So of course, when you come in with a change of a government, or a change of a system, it's going to affect how the finances flow. But there was always a commitment to build the hotel, and the hotel is receiving tremendous income source of funds right now to complete it, so that will be done. So Kipinski, Range down the road, Moroccan next door, Silver Beach will come in the Coconut Beach area, Tranquility on the flats of Salisbury. I've seen some lovely designs as well too. You get across to Roseau, we're still looking at some major buyer for the one of our best beach hotels in Miro there, and I'm keeping my eyes on this one too. That's a very good spot. You remember the early days of the Castaways. I remember the early days of there, you know. Very lovely hotel with a natural beach. I wouldn't have time for this one. And then we get up to I Hold In, which is the Jungle Bay. And of course we came here and we spoke about the people of Daly. They felt so sad when the Jungle Bay had to leave because of the terrain there. And as I've always mentioned to you gentlemen, the south part of Dominica is the youngest part of Dominica. It is still in its formation. When you look and you fly over, which I did yesterday, you can see all little self activities in the south of Dominica. And don't be surprised one day, Mr. Speaker, that Dominica is connected to Matnik, you know. It may not be in my lifetime because that's a little while from now, but in terms of geologic time, don't be surprised of that. And I hope the ants can bring news for me in Providence, if they were to find my body where I'll be buried, that they can bring some news and say, yes, Martinique and Dominica, they're now connected. Because Dominica is growing that way because of it's young. This is what happened in Saban. It's a young area. And we saw what this government did in terms of housing. But we'll get to that just now, just making sure we understand the context and how we flow this discussion here. Now, Mr. Speaker, we spoke about the renewable. I technically spoke about renewable energy in terms of when I cleared up the little misinformation of the leader of the opposition. So I won't go in too much in that right now, other than to say the government of Dominica will really pursue the geothermal project. We will pursue it, and I've been one for sure who stands strong on that I always wanted the domestic plant to be owned by this government, and we are owning it. This is the only way we can transfer that to you. With the Regulatory Commission and the people regulating the cost of electricity, this is how we can transfer that price to the consumers. because no, I'm all right, man, I'm all right. Because natural thing can handle it. Because we have to understand that investors, when they come to your country, the first question they ask you, what is your cost of electricity? And your cost of electricity, if it's very high, and Dominica, our cost of electricity is extremely high, they will ask you, well, they wouldn't be so interested. What I'd like to do, which I thought the members on the other side would have, at least with forward-thinking division, you know what I'd like to do, honestly? I'd like to take a line from that geothermal source and bring it somewhere in Roseau North, or if we can get some outskirts land, Roseau Central, and Roseau South maybe. And we can open a nice little industrial park and put our young budding manufacturers, young budding engineers to work in there at a lower cost of electricity to help them to have that little competitive advantage. That's how I want you all to think, the vision for this country. Because if we don't think so, gentlemen, we can never be competitive. Other countries are talking about, yes, small islands, we shouldn't be doing that. Look at them, they're helping their farmers and they subsidize everything for their people. But they meet you at these meetings and the dressers, and they give us things to sign and tell us, sign that, and we sign it. But they have their people in secret, So let us be careful about these guys. And Mr. Speaker, I made a mention of the fact that I never wanted Dominica to be recolonized. And we have to be careful of that. We own this country. We cannot allow folks to come in with their ideas to grab our resource. We are on the front burner right now in terms of the CBI program. Let us not allow these fellas to come and say, well, it's making some money and let's try to grab it. Let's not be short-sighted in this program. Do not allow these fellas to come and recolonize our island. Don't allow that to happen. These European people, they help us, But you remember when in the early days of the colony when they came here? They came and they grabbed us too. You heard the Kalinago gentleman speak about the first Kalinago pilot. I cannot talk about the president because he's immune a little bit. I won't talk about him. But he gave a very good speech. The Kalinago district. And all of us here, we have Kalinago blood in us. We all have it. These were the first people here. Let's understand that. So it's in our genetics, it's flowing and it's helping us. Let us protect this country, man. Huh? How you mean now? Of course, Lennox has a member for Maripot has Kalinago blood in him. Of course, come on. Now, Mr. Speaker, in terms of health, I will go into a little bit of health right now because Dr. Darroux is here. He's going to elaborate on his health program. But just to say a few things there on health, one thing mainly is, and that's tying back to the whole educational move of this government. We realized that we're getting this new hospital. And it's a long time ago since we had a new hospital in terms of the physical plant. But just by visiting Martinique yesterday as well too, and I saw the level of expertise available, and you see the geriatric area where they work on their stroke victims and people of that sort, their surgery, blah, blah, blah. We are getting a brand new product up there. And it's the intention of this government on that new program in terms of the human resource aspect of it to look at the various disciplines where we need specialization. I don't want to be going to the US every other, say, twice a year to work on my eyes, to work on my prostate, and a few other areas. No. Well, you should be. Gentlemen, I warned about. Gentlemen, I warned about we are all earthly mortals. So once I make a statement like that, we should just agree with me and let's roll. Right. However, I would like us to see, in terms of ENT, we cannot be in this country with 70-something people having one eye specialist, ophthalmologist, one ENT. We don't have our own oncologist yet, but Dr. Darroux will tell you about his plans for it. So, guys, in terms of urology, if we have to go to a doctor, as males here, we have to go to a OBGYN by right, technically, or internal medicine person. No, let's be honest, an OBGYN is a great person, he's a doctor, he's trained, but we want a specialist for males, man. You know what I mean? You want a specialist for males. Last time I went to my doctor, he came and he asked me to, I'll give a little, but it's a real story. Last time I went to check my little health and whatnot, and we're all earthly mortals, I say, gentlemen, especially us, here as we're trying to get older. Because if we want to live long enough, we must have problems there. Some of us are immune, we go to 102 like a bird. My good friend last week, 102, and I say 104. But these are just special little off programs. It's not promised that way for us. No, it's not. But I don't want to have to go to struggling, and because we don't have the expertise in Dominica. So the plan of this government in terms of this budget and the forward thinking is to look at the specialty areas that we require to help all of us as Dominicans. Because take it or leave it, gentlemen and ladies, take it or leave it. We are the next ones to pass through the PMH, you know, based on our age. So I'm warning you all, we are all earthly mortals. Let us stick together. If it's one thing, because this government, we don't play no politics whatsoever with health. I can attest to that for sure, but I will never be in a government whereby we're going to say, this person is blue, red, pink. I saw Papi with a yellow wheelbarrow in Tongwe. My goodness. That's the level of politics. I'm not going to say because the man was behind pushing Papi's yellow barrow, I'm not going to help him. Health is for every single one of us, and when we build this facility up there, we're not going to say to you, who you support, you can't come inside. Nonsense. Agriculture, there's no politics in agriculture for me and for this government. We all planting to produce, okay? Let us understand that, gentlemen. I mean, of course, some of you all, because of the petty partisan politics, you all come out there, post up and want to handle people like the speaker to warn you all this morning. No. Fellas, let's be gentlemen.
And the February.
Yeah, okay? Right. So, as far as health is concerned, these are some of the priority areas we're looking at. The doctor is here, he'll explain more for you on that, but in terms of our thrust moving forward and education, looking at the graduates, we really want to move on more and more with that, of course, with our new hospital. We spoke about the poverty figures, just to inform our members here, that when we got into office, what we inherited from the UWP was a bad report card, you know. Terrible. I mean, people were abject poverty, it was rough. But since we have gotten into office, and you all can say what you all want, the figures are there. And I'll tell you why it's working. This is the only government to date, and I've lived through all of them, told you that, in terms of the social welfare and support programs, this is the only government who has done that for Dominica. The elderly are having a good time. Look at when we brought in the pilot health program in the last budget. You all criticized, not even saying, well, let us allow the thing to work. And as we said to you, we'll look at a way where we can stretch it into a national insurance program because, gentlemen, healthcare is prohibitive. So we are trying our best as government. It's the only government who has brought in an insurance program. And we'll let it run for itself. We work with the young mothers and the young kids, and we have to support them because you all don't know, you know, because when we sit, where I sit, just some time ago, one guy, 3 fractures, $34,000 based on equipment and supplies to fix him. What are we going to say to the person? You blow your head, you cut your foot out? No, man. Come on, no chill, fellas. So let us understand what's happening. We are earthly mortals. We will support health. We look on people. Look at what we did in this budget. We started speaking about autism and handicap type programs. I have a cousin who is Down syndrome, and it's not her fault. It's a chromosomal aberration where you have trisomy 21, where you have an extra chromosome in an area, and it makes them Down syndrome. After all, she wasn't born, so she didn't decide on that for herself. So what we're going to do, just discriminate against her. For your information, that's why they don't call them Mongoloids again, because there's a race of Mongolian people. Just to say all those things that we must understand the context of health and what this government is trying to do. And we want to make sure that there's health available for everyone. Sometimes our mothers at home or parents at home, they have these challenged kids. It's not their fault. It's because of some little mix-up in terms of the genetics, and phenotypically it may express themselves differently. And it's a problem for them. I hope you're not having difficulties getting the words there, but these are important words. And they may come in here, not their fault, their genome is developed differently. And it's all based on how the chromosomes pool. And you have a problem here. You have a child with challenge. And the child may be at home wanting to scratch up the wall and getting crazy, and the poor parent cannot go to work. This government is putting things in place for special education for these people. And this is how these budgets are developed. There's a problem, and we work it out, and there's a solution. This is how we operate. We don't talk about 50 million in agriculture. To do what? We don't know. So,
Where you get in?
yeah, for something. That was the voters program. Okay, so understand where we're coming from. Now, housing, for example. Housing, for me, critical. There's no government before. None whatsoever has ever done what we have done for housing.
That's right.
None. You see what happened in Silver Lake many moons ago. Which Charles then had, that's what you had to work with, some long houses. They got burnt. Look at what you have now. We have raised the level of people in Silver Lake. Raised the level. And I'm happy that the member for Roseau South was there when we were opening the last set. He was there, and he supported the government there with that, because it's a good program. And we are raising, and we have another one to open now. And what we have to work on doing for Silver Lake is continue to put the facility and the resources in there so we can raise the standard of the people. We have to help them. And this is what, and a man told me last night, and we'll talk about the valley just now. Anybody, he said, don't call it now. I said, no, man, let us develop the country still. They want to call it now. I told him, Mr. Speaker, I told him, man, but the election, I said, call it now for what, no, man? Call it now, we're ready. I said, no, man, hold on, no, man. We have to develop the country more. We have some time left. I mean, we're stable, we're moving good, we know what we're about, we know where we're going to next time already. But at the same time, our mandate is the 5-year period. Let us develop more. So I develop, no, we're not calling it now. Let's move in. Let's move. And then he said to me, any government who's helping Malawi, poor people, people who are less privileged people, marginalized people, God must bless you. And he also coined it by saying that any opposition member who speaks ill of that program, God will curse them.
That's right.
Yeah, I agree with you. And you understand that, right? So understand, no, but fellas, I'm giving you all factual information. This is based from the street, by people talking to us, based on what they're hearing. I'm not making up stories here, I don't mess with stories and what I told you all already. Anything you all have to say, once is facts, I'm with you. No, but no, man. But stop being insulting, man.
The people didn't wish him that anyhow.
Okay, but gentlemen, I like to base my thing, my delivery on facts, and I want to show you all exactly where I'm coming. And you have to listen to the people. I spoke about Mr. Bunty recently. He's 80-something going to 90. First government I saw, Mr. Speaker, was ever qui jamais fait ça pour Dominic, was ever done that for Dominica. The man is under 90 going up there. Let's be honest about it, sir. Okay. Now, we know about growth in Dominica, and I was happy the minister, the member for the Marigot constituency was in St. Kitts. I was there as well too, where we heard the ECCB speak about certain figures in the region and what we're trying to get at. We know what happened to us during Tropical Storm America, and we know the sort of damage that was done to the country. But we can still boast, for what thing. Yes, we're targeting 5 to 7%, but realistically, in 2016, we pulled out at 2.75 after a major blow. When you hear countries speaking about figures down the road, 1 point something, Dominica still can speak and boast of that. And we have to understand that the country is on a path. Now, you may not understand what is a growth rate, and you may want to relate it to maybe saying, well, maybe because business are a little slow on your side, you may say, well, okay, everybody feeling in the country. No. The country has disposable income. The government drives a lot of it, I must admit, and we would like the private sector to do more and more. This is why we are divesting, we're throwing money out there in the private sector more and more, so they can start working and helping government to run this country. Because in the days before, when you had weak governments, like in your period, your ancestors' period, the country really was brought to their knees, See what they had to do? They had to go behind the social security money, take 25 million and not pay it back. We had to fix that up, fellas. These are true stories, I don't know what when you all speak, you all must talk about that. talk about that because these are facts. These are facts. But it gets difficult for you. Anyway, we boost up our league 2.75 growth is positive, and we love it. I'm going to stick with it. And of course, we're going to look at all the other aspects of how we can get that economy working together so we can get things going. Okay? So let us work and let's build this country. Mr. Speaker, I want to make sure I'm on target. If you any idea how much time I have left? 10? Wow. Okay.
Like Ron Green, man.
Okay. Okay, not yet. I'll take let me burn the first 10 minutes. Okay. The what? The Bali has his thesis there, trust me.
People don't want him here.
And you all didn't bring him there? Let me tell you, let me give a little history before I go here. You see, the leader of the opposition, Honourable Lennox Linton, realized that you were going to be a little problem for him. So he has sidelined you. My friend here, of Canada origin like myself, we realized that, okay, he's a very popular man then too. Let me hold him stronger. Because, and Mr. Baptiste, the man I respect a lot, I always say that to him, and my friend, Mr. Hector from Salisbury. Realizing what was going to happen now, and you see, what you don't know really, I hope you know it though, is the concentration of the power and control, and the Honourable Lennox Linton is smiling, because you know I'm talking the truth. The shots are called by Uncle Eddie Boss. Uncle Eddie is the one calling the shots. And Uncle Eddie not going to let that thing slip far from him. So you better watch yourself. You can see Honourable Linton smiling, and he knows I'm talking the truth. Okay, so... No, of course, Honourable Linton.
But that look is a smile? Well, I don't want to smile.
Okay, now, Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister presented his budget. The budget was fine. As I've said to you, I don't want to be in opposition right now with a budget like that. It is difficult for it. So the members are here. They speak about the various parts of their budget. We understand what we're doing in housing. Honourable Austri is there. I've been with him in terms of the initiative. I think it's a great initiative. As I was saying, he has done well in his ministry. And while you have countries like islands like St. Lucia, I don't want to call our sister islands here, when they had their little tropical whatever it was, they are still struggling to put on houses. We're going to have people in houses just now, and we have people in houses in Jubic and Center already, in Platnapier. And watch me, this is the beginning of what's to come, you know.
That's right.
That new community in Bellevue Chopin there, where the people of PDSAM are going to be. Okay, right. So the minister just cautioned me that he will speak about his project instead. So I'm all right. Okay, having said that though, because Mr. Speaker, I want to go on to some other parts here because the Roseau Valley is so important and I have a thesis on it now. This is the leader of the opposition's program, and this is the Roseau Valley here. Let's be, all right, here it is. Now, Mr. Speaker, yesterday, for example, those of you who normally on your little Facebook programs, you would have seen what was going on in the Roseau Valley yesterday. And you saw when we opened the West Bridge, and I'm very happy that you came, you braved it out and you came to the opening of the West Bridge, the Honourable for Roseau Central. Very, very happy when you braved it out and you came. I don't know what happened to you behind the scenes, but you braved it out and you came, which is very good of you. And you saw what we unfolded there and what's going to come for Roseau. And I must say, Honourable Tong, he delivered already. No, he's all right. He's doing a lot. And you see, I work closely with him as well, too, because the Roseau Valley is pure tourism. So I work closely with him. So he's a good friend of mine, I must admit. And what he's doing for Roseau, I'm very happy. And you should be confident.
You have 4 minutes left.
Okay.
Madam Speaker, I move that the Minister be given an additional 15 minutes to complete his presentation.
Seconded, Madam Speaker.
Seconded, Madam Speaker.
Thirded. It has been moved and seconded that the minister be given a further 15 minutes to complete his contribution. Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it. You may continue, please.
Thank you, members. Thank you, Honourable Speaker of the House of Assembly. I promise I'm not going to go over the time, but I want to start right away with the Roseau Valley, because the Roseau Valley is the closest tourism site, the closest tourist site in the whole of Dominica to your cruise ship bus. Say what you want. And it's the most concentrated amount of tourist sites in the whole of Dominica. It's not, it just I was just blessed with it being the representative of the area. That's just what it is. And now, the rest of the colleagues there, they have some lovely areas. I mean, Portsmouth is a hell of a place, huh? So talk to you like, you feel like you, well, I have New York City for here already, so I know you can call Portsmouth what you want, but Portsmouth is bubbling too. However, back to the Roseau Valley. We've been able to put out quite a bit of assistance to the Roseau Valley. The Roseau Valley is heavily dependent on tourism, as we know. We're not strong on agriculture, except for Mont Prosper. Some areas of Cochrane, Trafalgar is very, very small in agriculture because of its terrain, its hilly and whatnot. Get a little backyard program for food security and whatnot, but much Loda, they have done well in terms of the agriculture there. But it's not ideally suited for agriculture, other than Mont Prosper, which had the dump of the mountains there. Remember I mentioned about the per capita in the mountains? You have Mont Micotrin, part of the mountain, of the Mont Tropical mountain range. Mont Watt there. You went across to Mont Nichols then, and you have the other one, Mont Anglais. They all dumped their dust on the plateau of Mont Prosper. So you have a pretty thick soil base here, which lends itself to mechanization. And this is why Mont Prosper is the spot in Dominica where you can really get serious vegetable crop production. We are seeing the expansion of it. And I want to correct a mistake here that was mentioned by Ronald Charles last week. Again, a misinformation, not knowing. I corrected it already, but let me just correct it here to the nation. When he mentioned about the PAL, I saw him in his office handing some little envelopes, white envelopes. But when I handed an envelope, I show you my check, and I show you my amount. In secret, he gave a fellow little envelope and whatnot on DNA. I mean, let me tell you, man, let me tell you, get serious. But anyway, getting back to business, because that's not about my friend here. He said, don't worry that, no, relax, listen to it, because you'll need to know that, because when people make mistakes on your side, you have to correct them. The only government to date, and that's happened in my first term, who has ever done anything for the Mont Prosper feeder roads was this government, under my reign. And I can recall the premise and myself, with some of the members, we walked right to Abeson on foot, not driving, you know, and I saw four-wheel drive wheelbarrows. You know what's a four-wheel drive wheelbarrow? Where the poor farmers in Overbridge, no road, ladies in mud. I built a road for them. I built the Wabeson Road. You know which government worked on that long, long ago? Listen, you have to know that, because it's not in your time. Listen to that. Patrick John did a little thing for us. Let's cut a road, and it was messed up, no drains, no nothing. He's trying something. He mean good, poor fella. I had to come in there and put some machines on that road and put in some concrete roads for the people there. And this was it. Norris Charles. I mean, it's my partner. I'd like to call him a name, honestly, because Norris is a cool fellow. You know it is. I mean, he's cool. I'd like to call fellas names. But I'll prefer to say the UWP, because they should have helped him. Did not help the man, which had the best farming community in Dominica with a road. They didn't help him. That's how bad you all treat your people. And be careful, you know, fellas. You all be treated the same way, because Uncle Eddie is still in charge. Sorry. Members of the opposition, I apologize, Madam Speaker. I take it back right to you, Madam Speaker. I apologize 3 times on it. Right. However, is the only government now who cut a road after the days of Mont Prosper. The member for the Roseau South Constituency, yeah, you came up with him, you all did a little thing by the shrine there. I was involved in that accident in terms of helping people with. There are 2 survivors. I carried them on my back. My blood-drained shirt on my back. Sandra and Cynthia, I can call their names. I was in that. You all probably weren't born yet. I was in that. I was a young man, fit in those days. We used to run to a body lake. That's how fit we were. I went in that in the night. Police line, don't cross. I said to them, no, I'm crossing. Went low down, I crossed the line, went up. A pile of 15 bodies with 2 girls alive in that. I carried them, I gave them to, the chief of police in those days was Mr. Darroux. I said, look one, sir. He said, what? I said, look one. I said, I'm going back again. Police line, don't cross, you know. Went back, I brought another one down. Alive, through a pile of bodies. I was there. So when you want to know anything about the Mont Prosper accident and the road, then you must come to me, because I was in it. I walked the whole track of the accident. The truck is still there wrapped around a tree, for your information. However, we were the only government to come in and build a first half of this road to Savan, and we will build the second half. What you all did, you all said, our family up there, I must build the road anyway. That's the kind of nonsense you all been forgetting the people, you know. That's what you all thought. Anyway, based on my time, we will help people in agriculture. We gave out a lot of fertilizer free of charge, cost to the people, and they are moving, they're helping. I was there recently, greater still, I guess, because your fellows running, scrambling. People know the government who is helping them, so we're able to work with them, and they're happy. So this is Mont Prosper for you. We'll go across to Cochrane. Cochrane, I want to invite every single body here tonight, today, that you should be at Rabbit Festival next weekend, Sunday, to celebrate with us for the Rabbit Festival. The government is strong behind it, and we're supporting our people in terms of Rabbit Fest. When we went recently to Cochrane, we pledged further support to them in terms of getting the agriculture rolling, investing more in agriculture, livestock production, because we've always said we want to see the people of Cochrane more involved in the Rabbit Fest. And we have a committee this year, I must say, they're working hard, and the plan is for us to make sure that the product is in the people's hands. I don't want a few to just hold it down and stifle the program and the people suffering. I want to add value added, and let's roll with it, okay? We have rabbit meat, and we have different flavors and styles. When we went there, you saw Monica recently. Monica's Highway, there, Sit-in Road. One of the first ones to be implanted in the Rosa Valley on the secondary road program, and she came there. When a lady says to you that a rubbish truck couldn't come inside her road to take her garbage, because old roads. When a person says to you that no, the ambulance can come and pick me up because I'm infirmed, he can come with this, you know, the kind of dazzling kind of lights, this thing. He can come and pick them up. If you go to there, Sit-in right now, we have a lovely road there, built by this government as one of our secondary roads. And is the Dominican Labour Party doing that to the people? Never before in their history. Monica calls it Monica's Highway, there, Sit-in. This is the sort of development we want for our people. Wow. Housing and toilets, well, there's no government that has ever done that for Dominica. I wouldn't spend too much time on toilets, but just to say the entire Rosa Valley will be eradicating our pit latrines. And I know what it is to use a pit latrine. You might think, oh, Mr. is a fella this. No. My first program in life had a pit latrine. My first program in life. Yeah. And let me tell you something, fellas. I'm sorry, members of the opposition, members of our side here. You know what was the most distasteful thing? Did she ready to say, oh, daddy boy? Yes. Well, I have to, madam, because it's real, you see. But I wouldn't call, I'm not saying any bad words anyway. The trains come and say, but daddy, but there are a lot of cockroach and zandoli in that thing, man. And the thing, you know, and I was very impressed. And I have to use that every morning and whatnot. But Madam Speaker, I know what it is to use a pit latrine. I was very impressed when I went to the Kalinago territory, and they had the double chamber ones. And they used to scrub the thing. And I said, wow, that's a different level for me. And I said, wow, look at creativity. They had where you have a separation, and like almost like a male and a female thing right now. And I said, wow. And that really caught my, you know, in terms of the evolve, you know, how people evolve and how they look at things, you know, and again, so Kalinago people that, you know, exposed that to me in terms of my thought. We had one pit latrine, and we used to have to stand up and roll the program. But I can boast today that I can use a normal flushing toilet, and thanks to this government, not for me, I had my thing fixed by that time, but for the number of folks. When I went to Scott said, when you have a lady in 80-something years in her life, and she had never flushed a toilet, and this government is going to make her flush a toilet before she leaves the earth, that is serious, you know. Fellas, that's very serious. Sorry, members, that's very serious, you know. These are the programs of the Dominican Labour Party, and we cannot cry down these programs. And if you know anybody in your constituency who requires that, talk with the government. It's no color in that. So everybody. And I'm noticing the members are agreeing with me, so I'm seeing that you all have seen the light. Members, you all have seen it. Of course, we have the social programs, our NEP. I have a special program in my constituency where, because of a little health background, I deal with health for my people. And what's happening to me, Madam Speaker, right now, I made a fella smile. He came to me, and the man can smile with his teeth now. I'm not calling names because I don't do that. But I want to show it's so important. Some of us, we don't educate ourselves. I'm not talking about education. I'm not being negative here. We don't understand the importance of hygiene, our health. Some people, somebody asked me last night, if you know, a tooth were to rotten, if it will grow again. So it tells you that people don't understand certain things. You see, in terms of deciduous teeth and those come in the milk teeth. So we have to understand that now when you get your first chance in life, Madam Speaker, and I hope the most I might need, Madam Speaker, just 10 more minutes every time, just trying my best. When you get your little chance in life, and you have messed up your grill, your front teeth, for example, and you have not paid attention to it, but you're not going to get it again, you know, and you're going to live the rest of your life without that smile. There's some friends of mine in my constituency. Because of my background, I'm not going to allow my people to be that way. And it's cost me a lot of money, but I'm fixing them up. And I'm not calling nobody's names, but this is, we all part of it. I will never do that. We're all part of it, and more and more my people in the Rosa Valley, I'm raising their level in terms of it, because I'm looking at a people-centered politics in terms of the whole body and the well-being and the welfare of the people. So that's my program. We know about the NEP program in all the valleys. We know about that. I mean, it's working. It's keeping the place beautiful. People are gainful employed. And don't make nobody fool you all. It wasn't a political gimmick at all. But how can we run a gimmick for, just it'll be 10 years? We cannot run a gimmick for 10 years. It's costly. It's part of the system. God forbid, but you all won't be there. But never, never put on a program like that. Never. Trafalgar, we know, so Cochrane is on stream. Trafalgar, of course, every single part in the valley received its fertilizer, irrespective of color. Irrespective of color. For me, no politics in my program. Just people have to cooperate and let's do things for the constituency. Trafalgar, bubbling area, 90% of the tourists that come to Trafalgar. You'll hear from our Minister of Tourism. We have increased our hotel, our little facility up there. We can now, when you move from the thing, you think flushing frightening you now, because we have toilets now, sensor. Because that's what the tourists want. Nothing, people don't want to be touching these things. They don't want to be touching these little things to flush toilets, because people are very concerned about who used it before and whatnot. And we have to be here, because it's actually, that's what this is, the spread anyway. No, so yesterday, Madam Speaker, I'm sure, and I would like you, and you're part of it, Madam Speaker, where with this, we embarked on the Cabernet beautification program. And we know what Cabernet did to us. Cabernet has been a problem for us from the time I was young, and I always wished, but it's impossible. See if my mother or my father could come back and see what Cabernet look like today. And we still have challenges in Cabernet when we're doing the rim road, where we block the water and a big piece dropped. But we have a lovely area in Cabernet, which is like the extension of the botanical gardens we were working there recently. I won't talk about why and whatnot. Set up a lovely gardens there. And yesterday, the people of Fokani decided they want to extend Fokani into Cabernet area. So you'll see just now, welcome to Cabernet, signature under Fokani. We started the landscaping program there. Lovely palms and the golden mong and what's going to come down there. And it's an area with our benches where you can come and relax. And it's like the gateway to the Rosa Valley, that aspect of it, because you can see the whole Rosa Valley from there. That program started yesterday, so I'm urging members who have not seen anything yet to go on there. And I welcome suggestions from our side, from your side. Any idea you have that's brilliant, let's bring it in for it, okay? Because it's all based on science. But we started this program yesterday, and it's working well for us. The community center will be built. As a matter of fact, we will start the community center in this financial year, that's for sure. Putting everything in place for that. I've secured some funds for it already, so the people of Trafalgar listening, I'm sure they're all listening, your community center will be built this year, and we're back. No, but with the flatland, where it was there, it's on a hill is a problem. As a matter of fact, I can't disclose that yet, but there's a prominent person in Trafalgar helping me something that eventually one day we'll be exposing this house. And it's all of that been positive to the upliftment of the young guys who are sort of gone through a little side lane there when they get back on that economic path. But we'll deal with that sometime in the future, right in this house here. And I must commend the person listening somewhere in Trafalgar on that today. Loda, important to us, Tito Gorge, we have seen a serious increase in the tourists in Tito Gorge. Last night we had the Fete Loda. That's why I must apologize to Honourable Blackmore for not being able with him last night with what you refer to as a grudge match between the two promising teams in Dominica, the Dr. Mac Prowlers and his team, I think Dr. Darroux, a nice promising team with some struggles with us still, but Falcons, yeah. But the Prowlers, and we'll find out who won the game last night, but the two teams of serious in the first division, of course, Mr. Blackmore said. But however, I want to apologize to him for not being there last night. The reason for that, Mr. Blackmore, we had the Feast Fete Loda, we're trying to bring it back, and we had a great time last night in Loda. Lovely time, it rained, and the people enjoying themselves, and we've seen a budding new of the young fellas now coming up with their rap versions. And I was shocked to see the amount of rappers in the area. And if they can record their programs and sell it, we can make money. It's a sort of a business too. Of course, they work in the day, but rap in the night.
Apologies accepted.
Thank you, sir. What even as we know, we've invested, the Providas Road, $1.6 million. The minister will speak about it in more detail. It has started. We have the big equipment up there, some big excavators. They're going to realign that road for us and fix it up because we had a major edge failure. I think it's no failure where we're going to fix it up right now. So Loda is on the move and it's bubbling and there's movement in the place. The valley is very busy. We have all of the repair works done from Papiot coming on there through the Ministry of Public Works and Domlec partnered with it, and that's working. Trafalgar is working well. We have Wharton Waven across there. The bridge was fixed. The machine is excavating the river right now to fix it up. Of course, small businesses all through the valley, that's working. I'm not going to waste time on that because it's happening now. The people are enjoying themselves and they're preparing themselves for the cruise season. But Waterhaven is an area where we want to work with the Ministry of Tourism more this year in terms of raising the level and raising the star level of the spas. Because we believe that this resource, which is in the hands of the people, community tourism, we can raise the level and bring in even the massage component, masseuse, and get people to rub and just take away these ailments from the muscles and the bones and fix them up through hydrotherapy. Okay? Now, so that's Waterhaven for us. The road, an additional $2 million was placed in the budget for it, and if you go to Waterhaven right now, you see the sort of roads we have there, lovely concrete roads. I believe I want only concrete roads in the Rosa Valley because it's a wet area. The concrete roads are standing up. So we'll complete that road, and the people of Coptol will get the road to the bridge, so the Rosa Valley is almost there. Of course, Cochrane is getting its 5.7 in the first phase of this budget for the construction and continuation of their project. That's significant, very, very significant. Fed Kaichi, I'm inviting every single one of you to come up to Fed Kaichi starting this weekend so we can run the program. Fokani wanted a program as well too, that's where I hail from. And we have invested in them and they're preparing themselves for a little function on the Sunday as well too. So the valley is bubbling. I invite every single one of you to come up to the valley and let's get back in what we used to be before. Fokani, we spoke about it. Madam Speaker, I will not go on much more to say much other than to bring in a last little part. Coptol, of course, we spoke about that. Just to bring a last little part here with my Kalinabo brethren, member for the Saliga constituency, where he mentioned about, he spoke about the cassava program. And before I end on that, let me make sure I thank my people. I want to thank my PS, the staff of the ministry, it's right there, the constituents of the Rosa Valley, every single one. I want to thank you for putting your trust in me and continue to have me there and promoting the whole program and being part of this program. I want to thank you for that. Every single body in the Rosa Valley constituency. But in closing, Madam Speaker, I want to bring in a little part here because I'd like to bring in the last little health aspect of it, which had to do, Madam Speaker, when he mentioned about the what do you call it, sir? Cassava program. And he mentioned about some of the anti-carcinogenic properties of it. And I just want to bring in a little part here for the nation, for everyone here, that we must understand that my imagination grew a little bit there when he mentioned about cancer, because cancer is a real thing, it's affecting all of us. And for the males here in particular, the males this time, and if there's a connection with the females as well too, prostate cancer is a big problem for us. They say if you don't use it, you'll lose it, but don't worry about all those kind of things, fellas. No.
You have 1 minute left.
Just 5 minutes, I want. 5. No, just
I
5.
beg that the minister will give an additional 5 minutes just to round up and to wind up his contribution.
Madam Speaker.
It has been moved and seconded that the member be given yet another 5 minutes to round up his contribution. Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it. Your last 5 minutes, please.
Madam Speaker, I apologize for that, but yeah.
What you're saying is important. Sir.
Thank you. It's important. It's very important, and everyone, I want you to listen carefully. I met this guy carrying some research, doing a PhD, and he wanted to do a PhD on prostate cancer. And I said to him, with my little background as well too, I said we need to go back to the area of STDs. That's important for the nation. It's very important. I know where I'm coming from. And we have to go back to the area of the STDs, sexually transmitted diseases, and some of them that predispose the prostate gland to inflammation. Chlamydia is one of them, for example, the most commonly transmitted sexual disease. And a lot of us, we're all earthly mortals, there's contact, we don't know, we don't have the microscopic eye. We don't know, sometimes we tell people use condoms, use all kind of things. This is mature talk, right? And we say to them, use these things. But then you always have a little bit of mixing taking place, and the young people are very aggressive, and I mean, it's part of their hormonal whole program. And of course, people of our age, we are still okay too. What I'd like to say is, we have to be careful when we get exposed in the early days of our life, and if we remain unchecked, no symptoms as such, but you have the inflammation of that gland that's taking place, and your gland is bombarded. Some of us may feel a little warmth under there and just feel, maybe I eat a bad food. No, be careful with that. That's the pelvic area. That is one of the areas where I think research has to come in. And I said to the PhD who's going to do his research, you need to get back to that area here. Research that area and get to that area as one of the reasons and causative etiology as to why the prostate gland and our males are so prone to cancer. And I personally believe, with my knowledge of it, Madam Speaker, and I'm sure research will prove me right, is we got to get back to early sexually transmitted disease and been affected by it, especially some of them going untreated, predisposing us to, in our 60s and our 70s, to prostate cancer. So gentlemen, ladies, every one of us here, let us make sure we take care of our health. Let's make sure we don't allow these things to happen to us. And let's educate our children on those things, because it is painful to see our loved ones ailing with prostate cancer. I believe we can start right from there and stop that rot that's taking place in the country. Madam Speaker, in these few words, under 5 minutes, I'd like to say I thank the Honourable House and the listening population out there for really listening to some of what I have to share with you today, and to end by saying I would not like to be in opposition with a budget presented by the Honourable Prime Minister. I support it 100%, and it's the best budget I've seen for this government as we continue to reign in Dominica. I thank you very much.
Sit. Madam Speaker, I move that this Honourable House be suspended until 3 p.m. Madam Speaker.
It has been moved and seconded that this Honourable House be suspended until 3 p.m. this afternoon. Those in favour? Those against? The ayes have it. This Honourable House stands suspended until 3 p.m. this afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't mind your bag, man. I don't mind your bag.
You don't find it a little hot inside, yeah?
Yeah.
Go on. That's a big baggy boy. That's a big bag boy. Come back at 3 o'clock.